I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, select board members, for coming tonight. Trying to do this twice a year just to kind of get on page and make sure that there's anything you need from us, we need from you, or what you have going on, we have going on, that we can work together to get going. So, do you guys have anything you'd like to bring up to start, or?
I don't have anything particular, but
Okay. I know a few of the things that we have going on, next year we'll probably be looking at a paving project here as part of the CIP.
yep.
So if you guys have any paving stuff that's gonna be coming up, maybe we can bulk the bids in together and try to get that. I mean, you guys obviously have a lot more of that than we do.
We have, that's actually one of the biggest items on the warrant this year is our paving line has gone from $250,000 to $400,000 to try to play some catch up. So I'm sure we'll have plenty going on where we could
Yeah.
work that in.
Perfect, that's good. The other thing that Heather had asked about was trash. I know you guys have the roll-off now, the truck,
Yep.
and we've kind of looked at this for years. I mean, we contract and it's kind of expensive.
Yep.
Is there any way that if we purchased our own dumpster,
Yep.
that it could be picked up and somehow worked in with what you guys do now? I don't know.
I would think so, as long as you separate the same way.
Okay.
Do you have a dumpster at the town?
Yeah, I mean, so the town hall uses North Conway incinerator. We don't even haul our own.
Oh, you
out of
don't?
the town hall, but that's all office trash. Yeah, but I don't. It still could work. I mean, you guys are going to generate a lot more trash here than we ever would at the town hall itself.
Yeah.
But we can definitely
Just
discuss
didn't know
it,
if
yeah.
it was a way to do it. I know the roll-off's huge, so it doesn't really,
And you
You
want
know.
to keep it secure if there's food or anything in there. as
right,
far
to
as
keep
for heat.
bears
Yeah.
and any animals out.
Yeah,
I just don't know if there's any way we can combine efforts.
yeah. I can touch base with Dave Swift, who does all of our hauling, and see what he thinks might be the best plan of attack, or if it's even possible.
Yeah, if he has any thoughts or solutions,
Yeah.
it'd be great. Did election day, did everything go smoothly?
Yeah.
As far as getting in, I know we've tried working over the years to make sure that that's smooth and taken care
No,
of.
I think everything went really well.
Okay.
Yep. Big turnout.
Good. The only other one I had was snow removal. I mean, I know it's always a big thing, or snow days. Mike's still contact through Josh?
Josh, yep.
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 Okay, to make sure
Yeah.
that happens, and
All that's still status quo. Josh's point of contact. So,
good.
yep.
Anything else?
I'm sure I could think of something now.
Well, no, I
I'm
mean,
kidding.
I'm just trying to
I'm
figure out
kidding.
anything that we need, or,
Potentially for a generator on this side of the building,
yep,
about real estate, like where, we're talking about a generator for this side of the building, there's two separate power feeds.
Yep.
So I don't know how close to the property line it would have to be based on footages and where everything's going, so. just
Setbacks.
Yeah, kind of something to keep in mind, we're talking about possibly for here in the CIP and
hopefully
in the
grant
nearest
it.
future.
Um,
I just don't know what the setbacks are, and to be totally honest with you, or where we could physically put it.
right, because it goes to town land after school
Right.
land.
Right, so I just don't know, or does the town have a generator for that building?
Not for that. No, not for that building. But on that topic, depending on where you go for a generator, we could probably work the service plan in to get a discount so that they're servicing
All of them.
all of them at the same.
Do you guys service that one, too? You guys service?
That's a town's generator.
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
yep.
so,
Yep.
Through emergency management.
Yep.
right,
Yes. So it would be, if we'd use the same type of generator or whatever the case may be, we can work the service plan.
try to get into the same service contract, so
Yeah.
they hit them all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
That's just some of the stuff we've got kind of happening.
Do you know who you use, Adam?
Not off the top of my head, but I can find out.
Yeah, I was just curious. Joy people. I have a name in my head, but I don't wanna say it in case I'm wrong. So.
Got it. Anything else? Mike, do you have anything that you can think of? I mean, I appreciate
No, we
all the
don't.
help the selectmen gave us, the town gave us in getting the preschool stuff set up and running. That was huge.
Absolutely. They were happy to help. We're happy to help.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. It made a huge difference.
Looks great. New playground looks great.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a lot of playgrounding this year. So I'm happy with it, the way it came out.
I haven't been to a school board meeting in quite some time. Is there talk of potentially replacing the gym floor in the near future?
I
That,
did put it on the CIP.
yep.
Just a couple years out, it was a bigger.
Trying to
Number.
figure out a
Right.
better floor. It's been a topic of conversation for years, because basketballs and
It's,
don't. do
I'm
well.
just coming at it from a safety standpoint. I know we had a student break an arm on that floor last year because of how not that it's
Yep.
anybody's fault, but the floor is just old and
Yeah.
slippery and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think, did you
So
look at?
meanwhile, we'd love to put a wood floating floor on. It's phenomenally expensive. So what came back for pricing was, and I'm sorry, this is super little.
Nope, I got the big version.
The bid, it.
92.4?
the-
We
Yeah,
did, we did something similar to what the rec has in Conway. is that
yeah,
we
it's similar,
wanted
but
to do?
it's
Yeah.
kind of a, I don't know how to.
Like a rubberized.
It's a rubberized, and not even tile, it's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever,
So-
look up there.
Squishy, bubbly.
Yeah.
Still tile or
Sorry, it's kind of
laminate?
No, that's all right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's like rubbery tiles.
Yeah.
Okay, but it holds, it
Yeah.
stands up to the test of time.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, obviously, that's what the tiles there have done, but,
Bowen Corporation is who provided the quote, and they had just done one at another school, so got some details on it.
I've heard a lot of good things about the floor in Freedom. I don't know
what
what,
does Freedom have?
Wood floor.
They have a
It's
floating
a
wood
great
floor.
facility. Yeah, they have a great floor. Wood.
Freedom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cameras is really nice too, just saying. That's all wood.
I don't know, which,
when it comes to
oh, we
floors.
meet in the cafeteria. They have a gym that's different from the cafeteria.
Are you
Yes.
talking about the gym floor?
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
Weigh in on that?
Sure.
I did meet with Michael Kuchar, who was the one who did the North Conway Rec one. So he had come and done some measurement. I'm waiting to hear back from him. When we had Bowen Corp here doing the HVAC, I talked to them as well. They had just done the same type of rubber floor at the Molten Borough Rec.
Yep.
So because of the multi-use, multi-purpose of our room, it was suggested that we go with that rubberized flooring and not the wood, because the wood is so much to take care of, but because it's multi-purpose, we use it for so many different things, that the
Yep.
rubber floor is the better
Rolling.
one to go. Yeah, both Freedom and Tamworth roll out these mats on any meeting days,
okay.
and it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Yep.
They take up room to store, they're a trip hazard when the functions actually happen, and
Yeah. But
When we-
yes, no, definitely something needs to be done to the floor.
Right. Yep.
And now that the whole room's done and has air control and
It's nice.
so. You can actually have a meeting in there, or elections, and hear people talk over the sound of the air handler. And it gained us a good amount of space behind the doors to kind of get most of everything out of the gym, so that when there is a function or a sports
Yep.
function, there's not stuff that's having to be slid down the halls, and most of it can go in the back, so it's good.
Yep.
And you said the quote from the other company was 94.
That one.
92.4, I think, was the first one that
Yeah,
Bowen.
That's what's on the
that's
CIP
what it
is
is.
92,
I
yeah.
haven't
That's
seen,
a
you
quote
seen it?
For the floor, I haven't seen a quote for the floor.
All right.
That's what's in here.
So if it falls in a level 3, is that?
I don't think I made that up.
Do you need copies of the CIP?
Oh, you go. You can't, I'm looking at a tiny one.
No, I,
Hide,
right,
medium,
there's no reason.
So let's just say that's in, kind of as a placeholder. That was just to start it, and then we'll.
But we
Okay.
can jockey it
I
up.
put it in for 2027, which could be not this coming summer, the one after. We can always opt to.
And I know.
Thank you.
What's that?
He was blessing me, excuse me.
I'm allergic to you people.
I'm kidding.
Were you saying something about that, Sherry, or trying to?
I was just trying to console her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's on the plan for hopefully within the next couple of years. Anything else?
I mean, from a budgetary standpoint, there's probably some things at the town level that are gonna have to take a backseat to this PFAS problem. And that's gonna be our headache for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like yet going forward, but it's expensive.
Just testing alone starts out to be expensive. Is that anything that, is that anything that we should be concerned in testing?
We already had testing in September and everything was clear. It's under the reported limit,
For PFAS.
so, for PFAS, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Answered my question.
Our radius is expanding just because there were six wells that tested over the limit within the 500-foot, 500-foot radius, so we're going to 1,000 now.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm sure it only gets uglier from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's gonna be, so what's the, any fix?
So it's about a $5,800 fix for residential systems. I haven't seen the numbers for the system at the town yet, but that will depend on whether or not we're considered a community well.
Oh, got it.
We're still waiting on those answers.
So your budget's gonna have a bad hit this year too.
Yep.
Okay.
We can forward over to the school board, the draft CIP that's gone out to our department heads.
Okay,
They haven't provided their feedback. They're going to, I think, by Monday.
Yep.
okay,
have-
so you've
they'll
got
have
yours
department heads
back up
feedback.
online again? Kinda-
So what we have right now is a workshop of people who are putting together a CIP. So on the warrant in March, we'll ask the town to approve a CIP committee.
Got it.
And
So,
hopefully-
right, that, they used, back, how many years ago?
Maybe.
Not even that far.
But Sloan was the rep.
Sloan was our rep
Mm.
when she was on the board.
I think it was about 10 years
And
ago.
it was run under the planning?
Planning board. It's
Board?
typically a planning board statute unless this CIP committee, I forget the RSA, but unless this is approved by the town, it would fall under the planning board's
Okay.
purview.
The CIP committee from 10 years ago, though, the chair was alternating between two different selectmen. So it is a planning board function.
Okay.
It had a good representation from different parts.
It
of
did,
town, yeah.
it did, and I remember for a few years I was the rep for the school board
Yeah.
as well, because we had the schools in the town, so that we could look at kind of everything, and then when they disbanded it, nobody told us that they had disbanded it, so it was kind of like, we haven't heard anything from that committee in a while, and then it's like, oh no, you guys are on your own. Like, oh, so that's when it,
Yeah.
and ours pretty much stayed the same, but we just pulled everything out and started moving it forward.
So hopefully that'll get cleaned up
Good,
after town meeting.
perfect, appreciate that.
Hopefully it'll get cleaned up next week,
Well,
after we get all the
just
department
firmly
heads.
Just-
voted in, have an actual committee going forward and that sort of thing.
Perfect. Anything else? Nope. Thank you. Thank you for
You?
taking your time tonight. and coming
Yeah.
out and,
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Do we provide them these?
They have.
they can take those
Yeah.
and then we can forward on the actual document so that you can have it as well.
That'd be great.
I say we usually have it in the
So you can
consent
see it slightly
agenda,
bigger.
so.
Yes, yeah,
No,
right.
I'm getting up there.
Don't worry, hey,
Want my
I've
glasses?
gone full
I
time,
know.
so perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
As much as I love a good meeting.
Yeah, you're out of here. You got more stuff to do.
Pass you along?
Have fun. Oh,
Thanks.
Johnny's got it tonight. I'm off duty.
You might have to bring my
So-
kid home.
So do you want to throw a plug for lights are on for the rec?
Oh, the lights are on. The when are we running that to?
Oh, Festival of Lights goes through Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep. The Google interactive map is up, so it makes it easier to move around town and find the houses. There's also a printed version, and there's voting as different categories, what's your favorite, and all this other stuff. So
Nice.
it's good. I think the freezing weather and rain and all that discouraged some people because we only have, I think, 11 entries, and last year we had 20 or 21.
Okay.
But it also does make it easier to make it to all of the houses. So
Yeah. No, I saw a few last night, so it was fun.
Yeah, they look nice.
yeah, even the houses that don't enter, it's just so much fun driving through town and just seeing all the houses lit up. It's just awesome.
They should budget for lights for every house.
Yeah, we'll get right on that, Jim.
Next year. We'll talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get
Thank
that
you, guys.
CIP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so we are
I won't
moving
be there tomorrow.
a little ahead of schedule.
You know who to tell.
But we will move on to public comment.
Bye, Joy.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Do we have to legally wait till it's done?
I don't think so, but we can,
We can. Is
we
that what
can
you
if you
said?
want.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
The legal rules, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, because, agenda times are estimates.
Okay.
And then when we get back, because budget-wise, I told them 7 o'clock.
The
The budget committee, yes. So we will keep moving on if there's no public comment. Okay. Madison School Board budget. Oh, no, I told them 6 o'clock.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's on here for 6. I told them 6.
I was so anxious.
I told them 7.
It's only a budget meeting tonight, so 7's
Wow.
Yeah.
What else are we doing?
Let's jump down. We'll come back up to the 6 o'clock items when we take care of. You have your capital reserve in front of you. And your capital reserve fund balances are in the board packet. Right, because this meeting was generally selectmen and budget only.
Yeah. Did you want to do approval of the agenda first?
I
Before you
can.
do that.
Where is it?
Right, under public session.
Do you want my
6:05.
glasses, Jim?
Double them up.
Yeah, just in case.
It's under, it says Madison School Board budget, but then public session approval of agenda.
Got it,
approval of
okay.
minutes.
Thank you. Whew.
Sorry. it's
So I'll
Janet.
take a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Sarah, second by Ed. Any additions, deletions, changes? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Yes.
I think I have to, do I have to abstain?
You don't have to,
Here?
but you're more than welcome to.
No, this is approval of the agenda.
Right,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
you're good.
Got it. Approval of minutes.
minutes, that's
Here
what
we
it
go.
was.
Right.
Yeah.
Of the regular 12-2 meeting. Motion by Ed, second by Sarah. Any other discussion? Anything Janet missed? See anything? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Or an abstention?
There you go, Charlie, you can abstain.
And Carrie's non-public board meeting on 12-2. Take a motion to approve. Motion by Ed. Second by,
Either way, Sarah or Joey.
yeah, Sarah. I'll take Sarah because you're going to abstain again, right? This was,
Right, that makes sense.
so all in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? 1. All right. Your consent agenda has the capital reserve fund balance and your CIP in it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the CIP, is there anything in the CIP that we're doing this year?
There is.
There
Just
you
because there's a
go.
lot of dates and numbers, and so I understand it.
All the wirings are not
Well, no, but there's like
Right.
different years, so I just.
Yeah.
I'm looking, they should be the purple
You
ones.
highlighted them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
So
did, I highlighted them.
line,
Gotcha.
Driveway
Line-
ceiling
Okay.
and striping, and then epoxy flooring and bathrooms in section 1.
Gotcha.
And then the whole description's not yet there, rooms in a 4-year cycle, but that is,
So that number's, the 74 is real
Yeah.
number?
and then the reason the planned yearly withdrawal is so much larger than those 3 items that are highlighted is the withdrawal from last year is actually gonna happen this year for the HVAC. It just took a while to get it finished and the numbers together and,
so we haven't pulled it out of the
Right.
CIP as of yet.
but on the CIP in here, I do list it as pending, so.
Okay.
That ending balance of 140 is where we will be at the end of this year, and then say 7/1, we seal and stripe the driveway. That'd be up for use.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I guess it all comes out of the same pocket. I was thinking the gym flooring, because it is a multi-use
Use room.
room, does it fall all on the school?
Because it falls within the constraints of the school building, yes.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the money comes from the
Town anyways, right?
taxation of the
That's
town,
what I was-
yes. And that's like, so when we did the generator, that was one of those crazy things out there that it was sitting in the school budget for many years coming. Even though it's for the town's emergency management, they were doing work at the school, but that's why now they've taken over the maintenance of it.
Right, because it's emergency management.
So,
portion of the town.
yeah, and we could do it, I mean, it could be done could be pulled out and done as a separate warrant article, but it'd still have to be on the school district's
Okay.
budget.
Good question though, Sherry.
While we're looking at CIP and capital reserve, those are the draft warrant articles.
Got it.
So there's 2 pages for each.
Oh, just 2 pages for each. Thank you.
Yep.
I think Jeremy's gonna get in.
No.
I'll take Jeremy's. Just kidding.
Other questions regarding the CIP?
No.
Thank you for keeping it up to
Handful
date
more.
for us. Handful
More.
more.
Well, I feel like I change it every month, but
That's all right.
Change the CIP, Heather, every month?
Some of your other questions.
yeah, I do feel like I change the CIP every month.
But it's a living
timeline
document,
for
so.
when the
Okay.
warrant articles and deliberative and all that
Here,
stuff
get
goes.
Jeremy's.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next school board meeting is the 6th of January, 2025.
It's crazy.
So 6 PM will be our regular meeting. 7 PM will be the public hearing on the budget. Yes. And that will be,
A fun time.
we're there. So I'm gonna jump down to old business.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
In regards to the Madison Corner Schoolhouse,
yes.
if that's petitioned, would it be done by the board or would it be done by the committee doing said schoolhouse?
So
I
Also
drafted
good
one on there, but
I asked Heather to draft one on there. When I met with them
Okay.
at the last meeting, they had asked to put up a warrant article. So I
Okay,
put it
just
up from
didn't
the
see
school
it, so that's
district.
why I was
It
asking.
was 25 somewhere in here.
it should be near the end. The last one is the non-monetary.
Got it.
7?
30.
Right?
Or is
7
it-
was
is it-
SBC.
Is it 30,000 special? No, that's special ed. I don't see it. That's why I asked.
Right. Get into it,
Okay.
right.
So it is missing, Heather.
I think oh, shoot, I sent you the wrong one.
Okay. Should we throw these away?
I can print again. Let me see where I printed before I saved. It should be 6 and it should be 25,000 is where I had it drafted. To just place that, well, this is how I drafted it, to just place it in the previously established Madison Corner Schoolhouse Capital Reserve Fund.
Yep.
Because the purpose for that fund is
Or that.
to renovate or, and preserve or
Right, there was
restore or
a
pervert.
lot of words thrown
There were a lot
around
of
to
words.
make sure that it's not a full-on preservation. Or restoration. It's preserving the building and the integrity of the building, but not going back to period correct.
I hate all the words. There's like, it gets so confusing.
Yeah.
Within these warrant articles.
So yes, that will go in there as well.
Alright.
Let's jump to policies for a moment. Second reading of
Speaking of
policies,
words.
IJOC volunteers. So, Mike, I'm gonna give it to you.
Great, so this is our
So,
volunteer
these numbers
policy
are-
for second read, and the only change in this is that there was a request to add undesignated volunteers in here, so that's been added.
Thank
And
you.
Other than that, that's the only change for the second read.
Any other questions
Thanks.
regarding
It's an open
that?
seat on policy. If you'd like to come and hang out.
Do
sit
you want me
inside.
to, do you want to spend more time with me, Ed?
Policy's great.
I'll drive you.
Crazy.
No, 'cause
I will take a motion to approve as a second reading adoption of IJOC, the volunteers policy. Motion by Sarah, second by Ed.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Carries. Good deal. And
It's a
we're-
good one, Ed, good work.
Waiting
I'm
a couple
waiting.
minutes. I did want to mention that the SAU 13-9 joint board date, I shared that over email. It's not on the chairperson's report because we just got that, but it's going to be the 15th of January at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
That's in the column I read at the.
Yes.
development.
At the, and it would be great to be there, because we,
All of us should be there.
yeah, it's
I suggested. It's right at the
professional development.
Professional Development Center.
Yep,
So,
And is that an SAU 9 meeting that night as well? I think that's what they had said.
Amy said that there's another meeting that night.
well, what time is that? Because maybe we should go to that also.
That's after. Ours
Okay,
is
then we'll
first.
stay.
I believe there was an SAU 9 meeting that night and a budget meeting.
It's a Wednesday.
All right. All right, so.
But we are first on the docket that night.
SAU 913
Yeah,
joint board.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they had 4 or 5 meetings the other night.
Yeah, I mean, it's calendars, I got a free time right there.
Okay, perfect. Put it in there.
Like
'cause-
14 things in there.
Put it in there.
All right, I'm gonna start with the warrant articles themselves. So the
Should we
warrant.
wait for the
it's-
other?
And we're gonna do a new copy. They're
Right.
right up
Okay.
until the little schoolhouse,
All right.
I think.
So,
So the first page is right.
just the first page, so the first meeting,
It's just like so much more to
Maps
the
in elementary school,
inhabitants of
so
the school
the
district.
deliberative session will be on February
much.
3rd at 7 PM. The second session of the annual meeting will be voting by official ballot, and that will be on the 11th of March. Choose necessary school officers by ballot. 1 clerk for 1 year, 1 moderator for 1 year, 1 treasurer for 1 year, 2 school board members for 3 years, and 1 school board member for 1 year.
Who's up? Do we know? Sorry, just
You,
curious. Oh, such a shame.
me, and Sherry.
I'm not crazy. The house
Right,
is
she's the
close.
one here,
I
right.
just
Yep.
said it.
Shall the school district raise and appropriate an operating budget not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately? The amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrants or as amended by the vote of the first session for purposes set forth therein, totaling $7,518,300.
Right.
Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $7,225,953, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by provision, previous action of the school district or by law governing the body may hold 1 special meeting in accordance with RSA 401310 and, woo, here we go, Roman numerals kill me every
16.
time. Thank you, 16, to take up the issue of revised operating budget only. So I have 6 o'clock now, so I'm gonna jump into the budget itself. And yes, the budget committee is not joining us.
Here I am.
But it'll have lots of changes, Janet.
You guys would be so sad without me.
I would be very
What's that?
sad.
Yes, it's SAU 913.
Format,
Yeah.
sir.
You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
All right,
Maybe it's not.
so
Yeah, I can resend it.
my
Did
plan
I
tonight.
tell them 6:15 or no?
I told, when I talked to Sharon, I told her 6. What do you need?
There
Packet.
should be packets and then CIPs.
When
and
did
the
you talk
budget.
to her, Jim? Recently?
A couple weeks ago.
Does that say default or
I mean,
working? You want a proposed or working? That first pile should be a whole packet of information. It should be in that.
it should be in the whole board packet as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. The only thing that's not is the draft warrant right here, Deb. Okay.
Gonna put stuff out in case the budget committee does come.
So my plan was to go through kind of function by function
I
to
can't
see.
believe they're not here.
I'm gonna start at the bottom first though, just so we all know where our jump off point is.
I'm just gonna make sure,
Page
what time?
30 in the packet,
6 o'clock, I said.
19 of the budget. So
Page 30 of the packet?
30 on the top left corner, 19 on the top right corner.
Summary.
Oh, summer. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, gotcha.
Basically the final page.
You went to the end, okay.
Um,
Sorry I wasn't listening.
And we're looking at a variance on the budget of $407,724,000 increase, which is 5.73 as of right now.
Hold on, I'm on the wrong page here, people.
That's okay.
Second in the back.
I just ripped my staple. Sorry.
Dave, you got that.
I'm
Is
very
that, is that stuff in your backpack? Where did you crease that already?
It was in my purse. Right there. Yes, I know, thanks.
So,
Or on the page, yeah.
5.73% increase is where we're at right now.
And how are you feeling about that, Jim?
How am I feeling about it? Not
Yes.
very good.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that aren't taken into account in here. One are warrant articles.
Yeah.
Two, there's no collective bargaining increases in here because it's the last year, so everything's zeroed out right now. So that's not good.
Right.
The Conway numbers, I think I was shocked that okay, thank you. That the high school went down by $180,000, and the middle school, even with all the changes, went up $298,000.
The middle school.
The middle school.
Interesting.
So, with that, I reached out to Conway. Mike Wade did respond last night, and I appreciate that. It appears that they're working off of the numbers, they're working off of last year's numbers, not this year's budgeted numbers, correct?
They're working off of this year's budget as it was filed with the state, which was before they made any of the configuration changes to their schools.
Got it.
So really, we're billed for a building
For their
for their
sixth
changes.
graders?
For their,
Okay.
right, and they're not accounting for the sixth graders there. So our cost per student at the middle school right now is this year $25,977 with a 39.28 average daily membership from last year. And the high school is 82 students with $17,490 per student. Now, the formulas equate for an adjustment next year. So when they make the changes and adjust for it, next year we should see a decrease, but I can't even venture to guess anymore
Right, because they
because I
come
was
up with
way off the cuff.
Because they haven't really even come up with the formula as, or told us how that they come up with their formula.
No, I have that. I will share that
Okay.
out with you. I have a printed copy here somewhere.
It's an eye chart though.
What's that?
It's an eye chart.
Okay.
Yes,
It's a lot of spreadsheets.
Okay.
but I will share them with you so you can see them. Because the last one was finding the adjustments
Right.
column, and that helped to see what the change where it will take place and what they're actually basing the actual on.
So next year they'll do an adjustment for actual costs. And when they do that, they should adjust out to share the costs, the shared costs in the building, the administration, the principal, custodial, grounds,
Unified.
unified arts, amongst all three grades and not just two grades the way it's billed.
I will read what Mike actually said
It
as a
sounds like-
response, because it was, he actually sent it last night, which was great. Mike Wade. Here's the information. The middle school operations budget is based on the numbers from the 24 MS-22, which is filed after the vote happens. Which was completed prior to the reconfiguration, adding the sixth grade. The ADM is based on the 24 end-of-year data with no sixth graders included in the numbers.
Okay.
He's attached the PDF documents for the 24 actuals.
So we're overpaying, basically.
Yeah, I believe we're paying based on the formula that was set in the contract, but yes, we're overpaying. I mean, I think that's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, they moved how many of our kids in from sixth grade?
They moved 77 students into the building.
Right,
How many
And
did we
didn't it-
move into the room?
0.
So we
Kidding.
have 17 eighth graders and 14,
Seventh
Seven.
graders?
14 seventh graders and 17 eighth graders, yeah. So after the reorganization, sixth grade teachers sixth grade teachers are separate from the middle school budget. The cost for admin facilities and other positions that are utilized by all students, art, phys ed, music, etc., will be allocated amongst all grades 6, 7, 8 by enrollment. So the enrollment for Albany, and Eaton, and Conway will have sixth grade students included in their numbers, and Freedom and Madison won't. This will make Freedom and Madison's percent of students less than if it were based on just the 7th and 8th grades. But it's trying to figure out the adjustments.
Basically, but your ADM's on last year's model,
Correct.
which is gonna be different than this year's data.
Right. So we're budgeting for next year, based on last year,
And the middle school went up how much? Sorry.
$298,000.
I mean, I love it. but-
The only benefit we had was that the high school did go down, and that went down 180,000. So it's always been that crapshoot of where it's gonna land.
Right. It just seems so.
That's where we
interesting
sat. Welcome, Sharon.
So Jim, did you say what it went up per pupil?
I don't have what it went up per pupil. I do have the.
I bet Heather
nu-
to me. Could figure that out.
Yeah, 31, what did you say, go up 100 and something thousand? 200 and something thousand?
Yeah, so $298,000.
35 students.
Divided
And
by
well, if you use
31.
last year's ADM of 39.2.
Okay.
39.2.
So what'd you say, 285?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Divided by 39.2. $7,000 a student it went up. I hope we get some great services.
Yep.
That's awful.
And a huge adjustment next year, but that doesn't help us this year. So, I figured we'd just go through our budget where we're at.
Sure.
Knowing that we're up there, and there are a few other places where we are up. And Heather and Heather can answer some of the questions there. So the first page of the budget is your, basically art, music, PE teachers, sub-coordinator, wages for teachers.
Thanks. Alice.
Um,
I need some help.
I do have a question about the vacant .5 FTE RTI. Is that something I'm looking for places to cut. Is that something that
I
we?
think realistically, given what we have the budget information, that, yes, that would be the place that we could.
Since it's vacant, like you said.
Right, it's currently, it was,
Right.
we started the year with it, but it's currently vacant.
For which position?
So
The-
it's a half-time intervention teacher, so it's in your regular ed teacher line.
So page
12
1
at
to
the
the
top.
bottom corner, 12 to the top, under account notes. Heather Sherwood, can you tell me the cost on that by any chance?
I have it written down. It's 40,882.
Okay. Anybody else stop if you have things to question or look at. Top of page 2 or 13. And I guess saying everything, all the salaries for effectively bargained for employees are zero in the budget. But all of the salary-related benefits are included as they are currently. So any increase to FICA or Medicaid, all that is in the budget. Correct, Heather?
Those won't have an increase unless there was
Unless there was an increase from
unless there was a
the,
change in census or a change in track or
but,
the health insurance is
right, health
reflects
insurance is
next year's
reflects.
costs.
And it's actual at 7.5.
Yeah.
I got a question. So
yes.
on page 1, what's the K.S year 3 of 5?
That is a retiree,
Okay.
a retired teacher that, under the collective bargaining agreement, got a
Early retirement.
early retirement
Okay.
buyout,
All right.
and that's just year 3 of 5 for that.
Okay. So that goes down every year?
Yes. Yep. Um,
Well, it doesn't go down every year. Last year, this year there was, the last payment for another teacher,
Cause it's 5 years.
cause it's 5
Oh,
years.
okay.
So if nobody else has early retirement, that'll
right,
be.
so there were 3,
the
there
same.
were a couple in there last year.
So that's why it says like 3 of 5. Because it's year 3 of 5.
For that?
For that one person,
individual.
but
Gotcha.
the
Right.
others were.
Okay. All right,
have
I just didn't,
dis-
So if somebody early retires and the board accepts it, it could go up.
Correct.
gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Substitutes, top of next page. So I see we put in for $2,500 increase. I look at expenditures from 23 and 24.
We decreased the substitutes, we actually zeroed the substitutes and custodians and food service and moved it all to one place.
So that way we just have one line that we're putting custodians through, substitutes
Substitutes
through.
through.
Any substitutes go through the
just go through
same
that same line.
substitute
No
line.
matter what
So
they
it's
are.
not actually a $2,500 increase.
It's
It's,
just taken away from other places. It's
Taken away
probably an
from other-
overall decrease.
okay.
Are the other lines still in here?
No.
I think they're in here, but they're probably zeroed out.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I
I
get you.
didn't print zeros, which was probably not a cool thing to do, but I can find it.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
I just didn't know if I was
Trying
gonna
to save
look,
paper,
see the
but-
lines
Yep.
other places.
So, I'm sorry, just to be clear, this money, the $2,500 was actually taken from another
places.
line, from other
It was a
places.
couple of lines.
Well, this line does increase, other lines decrease to
Yes.
offset it, or
Yes.
even more so, or like you
Even
took
more
25?
so, it was something under 500 that,
Because I think even food service had like 2,000 maybe, or 2,200.
yeah.
So we took it out of food service and out of custodians.
So there were 3 different sections in the budget that substitutes sat.
Right. Did
So
you wanna-
they took they take them all so that they can just build to one.
Custodians was 2,000.
And food
Are they
service
all billed
was-
at the same rate? I would expect
They're-
not.
No, they're billed at they're, a teacher
Food
is
service was
one,
2,200.
Right,
para or hourly is another, food service and
All
custodians.
All hourly is 25, I believe.
Oh,
$25
so
an
we use
hour.
that all.
I think it's all of it.
In the past year, we did all of food service substitutes through the substitute line and the regular anyways, so.
and then custodians went through the regular, or do
They
you
may have been
your
in
own-
theirs, but we moved it all in one. Often we find the substitute doesn't work in any one position when they're here,
Okay.
so.
Times 3 positions in one day.
It was better than,
No, I was sub-coordinator.
so you're up early.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so that was the question I had there. The rest on that page is basically level funded. Health insurance, like I said, you're gonna see 7.5% is the actual rate that came in. There are a few places that you will see census changes. Moving on to page 14 or 3. I had a question, teacher retirement, did the rate go down?
2 things happened.
Okay.
The rate went down just marginally from 19.64 to 19.25. And then there was a grant funded position, or partially grant funded, it was 60/40, I think, that was not filled this year, and the grant is not going to be available, so that position is out.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that was, those 2 combined is what's driving that.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss something. Scrolling down, I have computer maintenance and repair. So we have $3,000, this is almost to the bottom, but we didn't expend anything last year?
That would be because Luke didn't understand that we had that line. He and I have talked. He's already spent some of it this year. He was
Okay.
taking it all from computer equipment. He didn't understand that there was a separate repair line. So he knows
Okay.
that now.
All right, so it was more of clearing up and making sure we
Yeah,
have.
because he was buying like a replacement screen or a keyboard battery from the regular computer new equipment line. So yes, we've worked that out.
Okay. Middle school tuition, Sharon, I don't know if you hit this when this was talking about, or if we were just after, but
Partway through.
middle school is up, even though they've added sixth graders there, $298,000. We are actively questioning, but I don't think there's anything we can do to change that at this point, other than adjustments future.
We are negotiating with them too.
Right, so as it comes to,
So
right.
just throwing that out
I
there.
do think they owe you an explanation. That's quite a, I mean, it's 41% increase
Yeah.
from the previous year. And so there should be some calculus that they give you that shows
There is.
why.
We've looked at it, Heather has verified the ADMA with the state. We've looked at the numbers, Mike shared the last sheet with me last night. That just shows how they do the adjustments calculation. And based on where it is, because of when they moved the sixth graders in, they'd already recorded the budget for this year with the state on the MS 22 or 25? 22s. So they didn't revise it. So it's working off of this year's approved budget for the middle school. They're gonna have a lot of adjustments to make because of an elementary school, and so it's gonna be there,
You got a couple of years worth of,
hopefully, a couple of years worth of adjustments to come.
yeah.
But they're also working through the fact that they have a very limited staff right now, and they're doing the best they can to get things done. So I will say that I was at their meeting last week, and that was their biggest thing, is we need accounting staff for one.
Thank you, sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you, sorry, excuse me.
So their SAU is bare bones at the current time.
I do think it will be important when it comes time to put the budget in front of the voters and during the meeting that in January to actually discuss that and let people understand, because if they just look through here and see basically a $300,000 increase, they're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be important to explain why that piece of it looks the way it does.
Yes.
Are you gonna explode here?
Pretty close to it.
never know.
There we go.
Either that or
Yes,
the
so
microwave's done.
I filled another circle. We just got the last piece of that last night.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to actively go through and figure it out ourselves. So yes, we will.
Maybe you have some pull over there, Sharon. You can get some more answers for us.
I mean, don't even.
Okay, moving on. Top of page 15 or 4. Benefit. The high school's gone down.
So you have about a 30% overall change.
Correct.
Overall
when
change.
you look
Yeah.
at them.
Yep. So basically, $118,000 increase between the two. So everything else here is level funded. General supplies, we've spent 8,800, 8,400. We have 11,000. Can I own some money here? Can I have something? Anybody want to
What
give
do
me
you want?
1,000? I'm looking for them to give me money.
Well, it's because you don't understand the cost of everything, like supplies has gone up.
I
So
do.
whether, I mean, we did an activity at the beginning of the school year about like how much is this? You're like kind of like a game show, and it's insane how much colored paper costs, you know, or the big paper, or just cardstock. So yeah, the expenses are huge, and so
Okay.
prefer you not cut my supplies.
All right. That's a big question mark for me.
And the science supplies is gone up because we buy, we work with Mystery Science and they do kits, and this is the year that we need to replace, not all of the pieces, but the consumable pieces of the kits we need to replace, so that's why there's an increase there.
Okay. Computer software, just another one, I look at the expenditure line, and,
So the difference is that we have lost all of that extra money that we had from COVID, which paid for a lot of our software. So now trying to hone in what do we really want to use and have available to us, and software is in several different places.
Mhm.
This place is all the academic software that we use to support learning.
okay.
So-
So we think the $5,600
Yeah, we ran the
is-
numbers of everything that we currently have, and yes.
Okay. All right.
Does that include increases, Heather?
We get quotes from them, so some things, if they go up, they just go up by just a few dollars. Some of the stuff that we use on a routine basis, it's not a huge shift.
okay.
So,
'Cause I know software is increasing insanely right now, so.
Is it?
Yeah.
tissue.
Sorry.
All
You're
right.
saying we should lock in sooner than later?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
I
easier.
will say, Alderman, on music equipment, I know it shows 0 expenditures, 22, 23, 23, 24, and we have in the budget 350 for this year. Those expenditures are so low because there was a New Hampshire Charitable Foundation grant that was used to, money was spent. We just used grant money to pay for it.
So it does, so
The-
that wouldn't come out of our budget and come back as,
The grant is now gone.
got it. Okay. All right, moving on to the top of page.
Really do spend our grant money first. We try really hard to spend that first
Yeah,
before we
Madison does a nice job of that.
touch our regular budget. So,
Let's apply for more grants.
No.
Sorry. Top of page 16, computer equipment. I know we were trying to get some replacement stuff going here. We do have a $6,100 increase there. The Bitdefender is all, I understand all that is protection. The 8 staff laptops, can we cut that to 4 for a year and then replace again?
Yeah, out of all that list, yeah, that would be, I'd rather keep the Bitdefender and firewall pieces, but yeah, I know our goal is to have everyone on a district-owned device. So yeah, I think if there's anything in that area, I think, yeah, we could cut it, to 3,600 and get rid of 4.
Okay.
I can tell Luke, his 8 laptops have been
Cut to 4,
cut to 4.
or just half the size.
That's right. The glass is half full. You can look at it that way.
Right. Does anybody have any thoughts there? All right, we're gonna keep going.
Do you have specifics for, like, we need, in order to have all these computers be compatible with each other, it has to be an HP, or a Dell, or whatever it is, and it has to have, because the other thing is, there might be families or people who might be willing to buy a laptop or two if you give them the specifications and you know exactly what you want and can hand it to them.
Yeah, most of our student devices are Chromebooks. Teachers have varying devices. One of the things we've tried to do within the past couple of years is really work on our acceptable use policy and have district-owned devices just as a point of security.
Wait, these would be donated to the school system, so they become district-owned.
Yeah.
But they're to your specification.
Yeah, if people want to, I would have to confirm with the tech director, but if they're a new device, I don't know if that's a precursor, but I think if anyone's kind enough to donate computers to us, I can put them in touch with Luke, and he would be able to answer that question much better than I can, but yeah, that'd be great, we appreciate it.
Because of all the new Bitdefender software, all the encryption software to try to put it on somebody's personal computer, and then you use it for, and I get it, people like, there are Mac people out there, which I am one, but in the business world and school world, you use PC for everything, so, so it's kind of morphing that, but yes.
Yeah.
So regular education programs,
And that's not much.
that number's gonna change a little bit. Wage,
How? Up or down?
down for right now, so we're looking at a potential decrease in a part-time, .5 teacher, which is around $40,000.
The 0.5 from the first page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep,
And then the laptops.
and then the laptops there.
44,482 is the total of both of those changes.
44,482. Thank you. Which would put our dollar variance.
363,242.
What was it? 3,6.
Oh, lost my somewhere. So I don't know if I'll get it now. My Excel is not happy. 363-242. You can only click so many buttons.
363-2. That one.
You're missing a digit.
That one.
That was the whole budget. Were you doing it just for function 11?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Gosh, I gotta go up.
3,730 something.
3728037. 3728037. .55. All right, we're gonna keep moving on unless anybody has any questions there or anything they'd like to change. Wages, paraprofessionals. There's an increase here.
So a couple of things about that. One is we have a one-to-one student, a one-to-one para need at the charter school that is current. We're trying to fill it, so that's why you don't have a number there, because we have not been able to fill that position. And then the second one is Madison is providing the ECE, the preschool paras. And so next year, the SEU is budgeting for 2 full-time paras, so it goes into our budget, so it's reimbursable. So it's an expense, but it also is a reimbursable expense.
So if this stays in the budget, when I do the estimated revenues, there's an equal amount estimated in revenue. So that's taking it off the budget. While it would make the budget lower, the tax impact is nothing.
But I feel like I
net
missed
Yeah, the
is
net is
zero.
that just like
It was
So
put in
is
the
all of that
joint
125,000 reimbursable, or is only part of that? The
Um,
increase, the increase.
Not
To
all of
pay
it,
for the
because so there's
But that's what you're
2
supposed to do.
new positions for preschool, but 1 for the charter school, so that one
But I don't like that it's.
is not fully reimbursable by the SEU.
So 2/3 of it is
Yes.
reimbursable?
So 72,321 times 2
Just the 2 preschool.
preschoolers.
Oh, but you're talking a full package.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, okay, well, like, right now,
Yeah.
we're looking at
Wages.
salaries.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
right.
it's hard.
So
It's
salary and
I'll take
benefits.
the
you're talking-
125 divided by 3 and
Yeah.
figure.
So, I'd just like to say publicly, I don't like the idea of just adding staff to take care of the preschool. I understand it, I just don't like it. I'd like to hire someone full-time for the SAU and have them go with the SAU, personally.
Well, I thought that's what we originally agreed upon.
We did.
So when did it change?
Some of this can be public and some
Yeah,
of it has to be
there
non-public.
had been some concerns from the association that there were people with the same jobs being paid differently, one through an SAU and bargained differently. So we're trying to work with the union to alleviate their concerns while still meeting the same standard of care in the preschool.
It's a can of worms.
From a functional standpoint, I prefer that there are staff, because then we have the flexibility of staffing.
It's
So
far
that-
more
That's
flexible.
the ability to, like, we started off with some people in there who it didn't work out, so we're able to flex out and move to match skill sets better. It's very handy to be able to be flexible with staffing throughout our building, because there is a staff member, there's a pair in there that's not mine. And so there's no flexibility, there's no oversight, I'm not the person's supervisor, I can't say, hey, you can't do this or please do that. Makes it very difficult in that situation. So having them be Madison employees makes it easier to give them direction and for supervision. So from a functional standpoint, it works better.
Questions? No, I just don't like it.
Well, and it's,
I totally understand the functional part of it. I have a problem with the money part of it.
yeah.
And
That's what it
it's
is,
the
right?
SAU as itself.
And
If
it's-
it wasn't in the building, it wouldn't even be on here.
Mhm.
Right.
But it is, so it is.
And we're almost budgeting for it twice, because we're budgeting for it in the SAU, and then we're budgeting for it in Madison.
Right.
And therefore,
It looks.
we're doing the same thing
Counting
that
twice.
Common's
Right.
doing, is adjusting next year
Right.
based on revenues that come in for it.
I see the concern on both sides, believe me.
So
I don't think there's a way to fix it.
Right.
Okay,
I'm
that's,
just voicing my
that,
complete displeasure with it.
I
I
appreciate.
understand it, I don't like it.
Right.
I appreciate that because our budget's going up
Right.
artificially.
Right.
Don't like it.
And it seemed, right.
Sharon, you gotta sell this for us.
I was gonna say, that's where the explanation comes in. That's where
Right.
you say to them, yes, there's a $125,000 increase in this, but 2/3 of that is reimbursable to us. So in
Right.
the end, it's net zero.
Right.
But that doesn't make a taxpayer happy when that money's gotta come out of their pocket to initially pay for this budget.
Right,
So
but it does
the
it actually,
hilarious part,
yeah,
the town of Madison pays the SAU to pay the town of Madison.
Right.
correct. Yes.
The irony's not lost on the SAU office there.
I'm sure.
As part of our budget.
Right, because it's all flipped back and forth.
Yeah.
But we're so grateful that we have a preschool and that we have great teachers in there. And I mean, I've spied in there a couple times and I love it, so.
Volunteer all the time?
I will. I would love to.
Full time?
It's so cute in there. I love it. I love the kids, the
So what,
teachers, all
alright,
the
so
things.
just,
Yeah.
so what do you mean we're paying 2/3 of it? Or we're getting reimbursed 2/3? Is it because of, we're paying a third of it via the SAU budget?
No, she was saying 2/3 of that increase.
Of the increase in the staff
Because the
number,
increase
one
is-
twenty-five.
Okay.
The increase represents.
One's a
two-thirds.
charter school
Yeah.
and two of the preschool.
It's-
So one we're on
I'm so
the
grateful
numbers I
for
have
preschool.
Yeah.
This is the
include
way that we
all
have to do it.
benefit, all benefits related to the.
Yeah.
I get it.
There's, yeah, one of those increases we really should have hired or contracted this year.
Mhm.
You know, long before the year ends, we should have that third one filled.
But it's very difficult to hire someone at $14.50 an hour if they have no experience.
Got it.
So that's your starting rate for paras.
Okay. Moving on to wages special ed teachers. This is a,
A very small increase,
right, but is that just,
it's a track change,
got it.
which is per the CBA.
But don't we have a vacant, isn't one of those vacant now and we're
Right, we're just holding the.
budgeting?
Just holding it flat and
We left it
hoping we
at the
hire in a
same,
good spot, yeah.
okay. All right, so that was a question I had. Then your health insurance, so your health insurance paras,
Can I ask at
Yes.
what level? I mean, holding something level because you have an open position for what you paid for the individual who was in it. If that person has 28 years worth of experience and you know you're probably not gonna get that again, then budgeting at the 28 years worth of experience.
She's about mid step
Okay.
and track, and I do know another district did end up they had to replace 2 special ed, and one they got about mid level, and the other they got at the very top end of their scale. So
Okay.
And
it's luck of the draw.
And this is a position that we've continued to advertise for. We are filling that in-house, so it's a need, so it's not just sitting, that position's vacant, but we're filling it through other ways, through substitutes, but we're trying to find
Permanent
the right fit. Exactly.
I guess
Okay,
we're
it's
not
not
the only
sustainable.
school with special ed
no.
openings.
No, and I'm not questioning that, I'm just from a budgeting perspective, did it
Absolutely.
make sense to use the previous individual's
In this case,
level?
it does.
Okay.
Sometimes, and I will change them if I think it's too high or too low, to be honest.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to 17 and 6.
So does that mean health insurance, you went to a family
Wait,
plan
yeah.
though?
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because the person in that position was a 2-person plan, so budgeting for a family plan instead.
that's on the next page, right? Health insurance special ed teacher.
Oh, I was looking at the 103% increase on the health insurance para.
And
the
that's
last
because
line.
of the 3 paras
And census changes.
and census changes. So the 3 that are, the 2
The
for
3
the
that are up in the
preschool.
wages,
Yes.
yeah.
And then the health insurance special ed, and I wrote a plan open position, and so that was just changing that to a family plan. Hoping for the best. Rest down, your out-of-district tuition, just gonna mention that, because we're level funded, but, we had anticipated a drop here this year, and then gained. So this is
One way,
a,
one
this is a
way.
drop and a gain, all in the same which equals out to, and
Net
the
zero.
full placements aren't done yet, but it's anticipated that it will be
Correct.
the same.
Yep.
Nothing else I see there. Moving on. Extended school year, level funded. Other special programs. Don't see anything major in there. Other instructional program, recreational supplies is zeroed out. Guidance, this was a census change, so staff change
Yes.
from last year to this year. Moving on to the 19. So your guidance services is up 7.8%. That is because we had a new guidance counselor come in this year.
Came in at the high end.
Came in at the high end, but then we dropped down
Done.
to nurse, which changed the other way. So the new nurse this year came in at less than where the previous one was. So they almost balanced themselves out a little bit. No, nurse is down 30,000, so.
Right, they don't, yeah, they have the health insurance stipend.
Correct.
Is that, the insurance stipend contractually in the CBA?
Yes.
Yes. At that whatever percentage?
Yep.
What's the percentage? Or is that?
0.2 of the highest amount employer portion. So basically 0.2
20%.
of an employer family plan contribution.
20%?
Yes.
Wow.
20% of the employer's 89%.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it still saves us a good amount of
Yeah,
money.
it's just a very odd number, so that's why I
Yes,
asked.
yep,
It's not like it's this flat.
right, it's
seven.
not a flat 7,000, 10,000 or whatever,
Yeah.
but it was,
Okay.
and,
I understand.
and I will say it's, in the past it was, there was even stipends for if you took a two-person plan, you got a stipend and the plan, or a single plan, so that was something that changed was that last time, Sarah?
Yes.
So.
Nothing has changed this time.
Nurses' dues and fees on the top of 20. Psychological services, level funded. Census change under speech pathologist. So you'll see an increase there. So speech pathology and audiology, $31,000 increase. And that's based on census change. Next page, 21, we have physical therapy.
Can you explain that a little bit more when you say census change for the speech pathologist?
Yes. It appears, just by looking at here, to be a health insurance change.
Thank you.
Yep. And the positions that are one line, one person positions are really the hardest ones because,
They-
right, they have people tied to the position, not just, but yes.
Tie-
What's that?
We used to tie everybody's salary to their name back in the day, so
They still do in the back page of the, back,
people
right,
wanna really find out, they can.
right, they can go find out.
Public information.
Occupational therapy is up.
That was a rate change for the outside contractor.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to hire an occupational therapist this year, so we've had to go through a company, and
And we have oversight on top of the,
so going with a company is super expensive.
Where we used to contract, we had a local contract, right?
So I think what's happening is Indeed is scouring the internet for all these open positions and then reaching out to people directly and getting them to apply with them and connecting them to like some organization that then charges us a fee to hire them. Because we've seen it for paras and such, so yeah, it's kinda ugly and super
So
expensive.
it's almost like
And
headhunting.
I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure they don't
a
get
lot of that.
the money that they're
Right.
billing
No,
us, so,
no.
yeah. Yep.
Got it.
Why can't we
And
just-
physical therapy up top, that was down 3,000.
Just because we don't have the need right now.
Okay.
So it's just a placeholder for, some students are on consult but not on actual services. So it's more of just, we're slowly decreasing our need for that service.
Okay. ESOL, level funded. Then we have curriculum development. I know we increased under
We
teacher tuition reimbursement because of,
Just past what
Expenditures.
we've been expending out and what we know of for people that are currently taking coursework.
got it. Staff travel reimbursement.
So
Looks like we've done.
If you wanted to cut, if you wanted to, I would say maybe 2,000 from the improvement of instruction, but you could do the 2,500 for the travel. People seem to be doing more webinars than they are traveling to
Yeah, I agree.
activities.
So you think
So-
I could take
25 from each of
25
those?
from, 2,000 from the improvement of instruction?
Right, and 25 from staff travel.
I had 2,000 right there, but I will take $4,500. Anybody else? She's giving up money. Now's the time. All right. So,
I hate
I'm.
giving up money.
What's that?
Nothing, go on.
You hate what?
Nothing, continue on.
We've been using a lot of our Title II money for professional development as much as possible. Again, trying to spend as much grant money as we can.
Mhm.
This year, we've taken our Title IV and put it into Title II, which is dedicated to professional development. So we're trying to use that. And we're using some Title I grant money to support the Wit and Wisdom curriculum, so that includes professional development. So we're trying to use grant money as much as we can before tapping into the budget.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. Heather, did you get those changes as we're going? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Down to instructional staff training. And then moving on to 22 on the top. Wages, educational media. Basically, everything there is level funded. School board wages, everything school board related is level funded except for the $2,000 for the GASB, which is
Comes and goes everything,
Yes.
every other year.
Every other year, so
every other year.
we paid it this year, we won't next year, I'll put it back in.
Right. Wish they'd just send us a bill for $1,000 a year and do it every 2 years. So school board expenses is just down that money there. Clerk moderator, level funded. School district treasurer, level funded. Legal services, level funded. Other school board expenses, level funded. Board fees and board dues and fees is up $300. Is that just a change in the New Hampshire School Board Association?
Yeah, they said they did an increase for the first time in many years.
Okay. Principal wages is, we agreed on 2% for next year. Wages for the admin assistant, how did that come in at 394? I thought we had said 3.
It was under budgeted before
Okay.
because when we did contracts, we realized at some point there was a CBA change that allowed additional holiday, but it never.
Not a CBA, but the non-contract
Yeah,
policy.
no, even before, just Holly
Backing down, okay.
had gotten an extra holiday and really, she didn't.
She wasn't compensated.
It
for
wasn't compensated correctly.
Okay, so it was correction and the 3% increase to the non-CPA staff.
She still worked the same number of days, and she got 11 holidays instead of 10, but she was only paid for 10 holidays, so.
Got it. Okay. Head teacher is level funded, moving to the top. Longevity.
Go back.
Yes,
Is
ma'am?
that position, that admin assistant position, a year-round position?
It
Or is it a
is-
222? Is it 260 or
I think
222?
it's not year
It's
round,
not
but I wanna
260.
say it's like 210, but I don't remember. She usually works 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the school year.
220?
Might be
Um,
220.
I thought it was 220.
Maybe, I don't
It's
remember.
usually about 217, give or take, actual work days, and then the paid holidays. Usually works out to around 220, 222 days, depending on 10 or 11 holidays. Okay.
So yes, it is not full year-round, but it is a good portion of it. So if we can have that number for the January meeting, just so
I
we
can have it for you in just a minute.
So then
Okay.
they don't get benefits.
Thank you. What's that?
Then they don't get benefits, right? Health, like health, they do.
No, it is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
considered full-time.
Oh,
So it's a full-time, just not year-round.
oh, I see.
So you have your longevity, you have your
You see the
insurances.
220 days.
220?
220.
Thank you. That was sticking in my head for a day. And then, so all your salary related, but general office supplies. Up $545. Go ahead.
So we've been trying to do a lot more of school spirit and school culture in our house system, so this is where we pull money to buy some of those things for the kids, or if we're, the PTO buys the shirts and we buy the decals, so we're, trying to work to do more of the team building and culture and climate, and so that's where we pull from, is that.
Software, this is the Alma. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Software changes.
And I believe we also moved this Renaissance, the
did,
assessment
you're right.
testing
Thank
into
you.
this line.
So the,
Coming out of some other line?
That's a great question.
right. Did it get deleted from another software?
It would have come out of academic achievement, I don't know.
Which you already just spoke about.
Is
I was thinking it was closer to guidance.
It's usually
I
under
think it was under
guidance.
guidance.
Oh. Show it all.
Right, academic achievement, you see it. 21,
Oh.
23, 21.
I didn't pull it out of there.
So how much
no.
was that?
So, but we can't pull it all up because there's two things that we pay there. We pay for the Acadians and we pay for STAR, which is their Renaissance, so.
Was it like $3,000?
There's 2,800 in that line that we spend. I just don't know I'd have to go back and look at the difference. Because Acadians, they're both per pupil. I just didn't know.
I think it's around 3.
For STAR?
Yeah.
That's what I think I put in.
Yeah.
This is a quote for next year.
Yeah.
So we need to just firm up Acadians, something less than 2,800.
So from another line, we're gonna need to pull, or we can pull.
Because Acadians isn't that much money.
It's not, it's just a couple of dollars per kid, so.
So I'm thinking it's gonna be like 2,000 out of guidance.
Yeah.
Okay. So
think
guidance.
that would be safe.
$2,000 out.
Page 19 of the packet, 8 of the report. 23,
19. Achievement testing. So how much out of there? 2,000?
Because it's $4 plus per kid.
I'm just trying to go see how much we pay to Acadians, so.
Okay. All right.
If, what's the other name of those Acadians?
And that's our problem.
Voyager. Voyager learning. If that's the right one. Thank you for your patience.
Do you feel left out? Need to turn your computer on.
I was gonna see if I could beat them to the punch, but.
Oh.
Don't
I just-
bother.
Now I see it as a challenge.
Don't bother.
Um,
You're not gonna beat those two
this
bills.
is $3 per kid.
It's like 350.
113,
So say we
245.
have 125 kids,
It's $400.
375.
Okay.
So take 2,400 out instead of 2,000.
All right. I'm happy with that.
What is that?
Even number.
2,400 down. So leave 400 in the achievement testing line, page 19. So it's under guidance.
Well, why don't you just put it all in the administrative software and just get rid of achievement testing?
Okay, so I'm okay with
Right,
that.
why don't we just put it all in?
Zero.
So page 19 up
Now
at
I'm
the
gonna add
top,
400
achievement
on here.
testing. We're gonna zero that out
Put it all in the principal line.
and add it all to
So that'll
page
become
25.
66.50.
and make that 6650. Software,
Software's gonna be 6650.
yes. So all of the achievement testing is moved into that software line.
And SNAP is in the
This
line,
is
right?
Okay. Moving on to operations of the plant. Custodians, just a census change in staff from last year to this year.
That's a full year of the staff.
Correct.
The same
We-
staff, just
We brought that to full-time
Last year.
middle of last year and then budgeted because we couldn't find any part-time. So that is full-time there. Wages substitute custodian, here's where we see some decreases.
Well, it's not really a decrease, it's just moved.
Right, decreased here, but it was increased there,
Over there.
yes. Yep. Health insurance, your other salary-related benefits.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
How would that health insurance for head custodian, there's like two lines? Right now, yeah, head custodian, how's it 8.71%? That was 7.5.
because the approved budget wasn't the actual amount
on that line.
on that line. There were a couple like
So
that.
last year's approved budget didn't get updated to match the actual cost.
Okay.
So it was we were underfunding last year's budget.
You mean this year's budget? The
This
budget that
current
we're-
year,
yeah,
right.
The one that we're in.
Yes. So we were off by a couple $100, I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Okay, good catch. Page 26. Contracted services, that's our dumpsters.
Right, so
The
it's the fire
pest control.
testing, it's Pope security, it's having things maintained, it's the Stanley elevator. Yeah, it's all of the ones that come on a routine basis.
And we're anticipating
We are anticipating an increase, yes,
And water testing.
in water testing.
Mm-hmm.
and everything else.
Okay. Building refurbishment. Just gonna throw this out there. Sorry, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So this is where we have our phase 2, the adaptive piece of the playground. 40,000. Yeah.
Is it there?
50,000 is where it was last year for the playground.
It was in building refurbishment? I thought we created a
Yeah.
line for it.
That's where they put it, right?
Yeah.
Did we not have a line in the budget last year?
I thought we did.
The line what?
I thought we
for
had
the
a specific
playground,
line for,
Playground.
Yeah.
not in building refurbishment. I thought we created a line.
In the
I
SAU
remember
budget
you
we did.
creating a line for
Yeah.
the playground.
I didn't. How's that? So it's in the same place it was for this year.
No. It was
What?
in the budget. Sherry
What's
said
that?
she thought it was a warrant.
So
Well, it started out, the discussion started out as
Correct.
a warrant
It did.
article, and then it
Right.
ended up.
ended up in the
Correct.
budget, and then we
Correct.
we did have a public hearing and expended some of the unreserved fund balance to make up the difference
Yeah, yeah.
to get it all taken care of. So we utilized as much creativity as we could to make sure we got the project done, rather than trying to live off of bake sales for 75
Our
years,
blood,
to
sweat,
still
and
be
tears is
way
what I like
behind
to
at the
call
end of
it.
the day.
So,
So we have $40,000 in the budget here for
in
this
the
year.
building repairs.
In the building repairs line, building refurbishment.
Okay.
Buildings and grounds. We're taking what's there and ripping it out and
Yes.
making something better.
So 40,000 is about half of the cost of that.
So what happens if a heat pump blows up? Where does that come from? Building
Building
refurbishment?
repairs,
Building repairs,
Where's building?
up to,
above contract.
so 50,000.
Okay.
So like, you know, the sewer pump out here, that's
Building
gonna be your
repairs.
building repair line.
So are you saying you wanna wait maybe, Jim, for next year to do phase two?
I don't know, I mean, I'm just,
I kind of would like to, simply because we should get our money back. Hopefully, see some relief from the middle school debacle
and it
next
would be
year.
the time to do it.
And leave it for $1 to keep the line in there or something.
Fine.
If,
Personally.
right,
Or
and
whatever,
if,
you
and
know,
if
what you
grant
have to
funding
do.
comes through and we're able to budget for that next year.
You better make me lots of cupcakes for the bake sale next time, that's all I'm just gonna say.
In
some
building
cream puffs.
refurbishment, you wanna take it down more than,
You gonna
Take
zero
the
it?
40.
I was,
I can zero it. I only need the dollar in the function, not in the object.
okay,
So it's definitely money in the object.
so
not
right,
function.
so,
You better be making more cream
but I'm
puffs.
not, I don't wanna create total waves over the playground, I mean.
No,
we
I mean,
just
I
did-
think we have a beautiful, like, a beautiful playground, and I think the kids are really excited, and you know me, like,
I know.
it's pretty near and dear to my heart, this playground situation, but I understand,
Okay.
so.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
Could we add it as a warrant article
yes.
for 40,000?
But just remind me if I'm wrong, that if you have it as a warrant article and it doesn't pass,
No
that
means
means you
no.
can't
Do
do
it.
it
Right.
At all.
No mean, so
Right.
no would mean no.
until the.
This
town said
happened-
yes.
So let's
Whoa,
not do that.
a lot of years ago with,
But, I mean, thank you.
with kindergarten.
I know you care about it too, of course.
All right.
I know you all
Okay,
do,
whatever.
I'm not saying that, but,
Um,
yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I guess, so.
But, what's that?
Like, where would like a new carpet for this space come from? Does that come from refurbishment or building repairs?
Building repairs.
Building repairs. Yeah,
Or
so
the
this
CIP.
whole
Or
line,
CIP, right,
this
the
whole
CIP.
$40,000, we were earmarking for the
Excuse me.
phase
Phase
two,
two.
final phase.
That'll be a final phase.
Could you explain what phase two would be?
Yes, so, obviously, I don't know if you've been by to see phase one.
Just in the dark.
Perfect, pretty much, so.
It looks great.
So they did they've done a lot there. Phase two is this section over here, and it was gonna
Adaptive.
be more
Adaptive
adaptive
playground.
for, you know, for use
More
with.
handicap accessible.
Thank you.
But surely if it's adapted, then not grants available?
Right, so that's
If
what
it's
kind of
exclusively
something
that
too,
kind- if
right.
it's exclusively being built?
Right.
A lot of times they're
Yes.
matching grants, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm putting 40,000
Okay.
in, hoping for a matching grant.
Figured the cost was gonna be right around $80,000 is what we were.
So we could start with phase two and do phase three, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are grants, right. So yes, you could take it out this year, but you better put it back in next year.
Have you done any legwork to identify sources of those matching grants yet?
IDEA can be used to fund ADA accessible playground equipment. And they do, often when we go to get things approved, they like a match. So,
I mean, you can write into the proposal that there's a match, it doesn't have to be in this year's budget.
right.
Correct.
And the IDA grants go 2 years, so we could leverage a couple if we needed to.
So we could taking $40,000 out?
It's yours.
No, it's not mine. All right, so let's zero that out for this year.
When people call me, they're watching online, how many people is there watching? 11. Don't be mad at me, no.
No, don't be mad at Sarah.
the kids
So-
are home crying.
The kids are all crying.
Continuing on with the
It's okay,
operation of the
sorry.
plant, 7,500 expected on the increase in the electricity, or?
That's
Oh.
2 drivers. The AC in the gym is electric. And then we are protected somewhat. We have a contract for our electric supplier through November. And then after that, we'll see how I do negotiating. There is some anticipation that rates in the Northeast will increase.
Okay. So this is a wild guess,
It
but.
is a
Fuel
wild
oil went
guess.
down. Come
I
on,
know,
balances out.
I was happy. I'm happy with the downs, and I'm okay with the explanations of the ups. Okay, propane, I didn't even circle this one. This is because all the new heating system in the gym is propane.
And I put in the kitchen propane in there, food
Correct.
service, and zeroed it, cause there's no way to meter it separately, it's all out of the same.
So they
But
went,
there is a 10,000 decrease in fuel oil.
there is a 10,000 decrease in fuel oil, yes.
Thank you, Sharon.
So
Because we've moved from propane
Right.
to, or
we've moved from fuel oil to propane in some sections of the building. Yes. Okay, just hit one more time.
You go for it, I'm ready.
I have a scrubber, a wet vac, and a snow blower with a $5,000 increase. Can we maybe make two of the three happen?
Do you want the building to be clean? And do you want the outside to be safe?
That's a loaded question.
Because last year, we were asking for some of these things and couldn't, so now this is more of a have to. And the wet vac is actually cheaper to buy one than it is to get the one that we currently have repaired. So,
Sounds like a win.
Okay. I'm good.
I will say Ken and I have spent a lot of time working on like even supplies and buying from Amazon or Sam's Club, like trying to leverage money. And I mean, I can tell you how much one sheet of toilet paper costs. We're trying to pinch those pennies because we know that everything's expensive, and with Cleanorama, there's a freight charge for things, so we're just trying to really, you know, spend wisely. So
What does one sheet of toilet paper cost?
less than a penny if you buy from Amazon.
Heather, would we be surplusing the old equipment?
When we get to that point, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Have you checked with any of the other schools? I know, like when they closed the one school, they had to have custodial equipment. The building at the middle school didn't get any bigger. So is there equipment there that could potentially be repurposed from those schools to this school, so you could save money by not having to buy a scrubber?
I do not know. The only concern I would have would be, we'd have to talk about like age and, you know,
Yeah.
when you buy a used car, you're getting somebody else's headaches.
I can reach out to Amy. Amy's been pretty good about letting us know when there's, you know, pieces of from the
Stuff.
school closure being surplus. So she did mention a few things. I don't know if that was one of them, but I can certainly reach out to just make sure we have all our boxes
There are a
checked.
lot of chairs and
Yeah, a lot of chairs and desks.
Yeah, no. We've storage those stuff for a long
They've
time.
opened that to the public,
They
so
did.
I'm not sure that anything's left.
Oh, did they open it up to the public
So by the
already?
time I saw
Yeah.
pictures,
I
it
did,
was
I heard it on the
shiny.
radio.
I know
For
the
personal use. so-
back hallway at the middle school is lined with equipment, because the high school keeps giving us equipment.
Right.
When they buy something new, they give us the other ones.
Oh, that's how it works. That's why our high school budget keeps going up.
No, the high
Although
school's
it
going
went
down.
It went down, well, our cost of it went down, yes. All right, contracted services, summer transportation, summer's level fund transportation. Contracted transportation, is this the last year of our contract with
My
Butler?
notes didn't print. I believe there's one more.
I think there's one more year.
Okay.
I think they were picking up 2. Yeah, so this is year 1.
Well, no, but
Year
this
one,
is year
year
two.
So,
two.
yes, this is year 2.
This
Yes.
is year 2, so
Yes.
we should next year start looking at putting the bid out for
All two
transportation.
places.
Right, I was gonna say to
I
where.
know.
Right,
I-
seriously.
yeah,
I think we
got-
will, yes,
yeah, I get it.
definitely.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll start fighting over us. Okay, I can dream, can I?
It's an interesting dream, Jim, interesting dream.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Special ed
Dream big,
transportation,
Jim.
level funded, again, this is a place where we thought we were gonna save.
Money. Not sure what the one in, one out is gonna land where, so
Got it. But if it lands similar placement to now, it would be
we need the
transportation plus.
transportation.
If
Yep.
it lands residential, it's gonna be more on the
Yep.
other side and this would draw to 0, but that could go higher. Field trips?
Field trips are up because, just face it, Tim was really good to us on how he billed us or didn't bill us for field trips, and so now we're being held to our contract, so it's a little bit
Mike
tighter.
negotiated 10
I got
free
10
ones.
free field trips.
Don't forget to cash those in,
What was
Heather,
that?
for next year. Don't forget to cash those.
Oh, right. That's for this year.
I didn't think that
Is
there
that
was
in
a-
perpetuity?
Yeah, that's how I understood it.
Yeah, I don't.
Get that in writing for me?
You got it.
All right. 10 free
Close
in
this deal.
perpetuity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for a year.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds fair.
Right, just till the end of the
In the
contract.
contract,
That's
it's
how I-
10,
that's how I
think
took it.
we pay
Okay.
for, there's like, it's 10, but I think you pay for the driver's time. There's something in there.
It's awkward.
But yeah,
It's
so I'm not
awkward.
sure how much your 10 free.
It was
Really
just a
helps.
$2,700 increase, and
That was,
It was something, Mike.
I was very proud of
Good
that.
work.
hey, you've done a good
Yeah.
job.
Way to go, buddy.
Hold on.
yeah, that, now I feel better.
All right, there we go.
Way to go.
Yes, Sharon. Speak.
Your expenditures were $1,500 in 23-24. Even if you doubled that, you're still not at 5,500.
It's because we have a different vendor.
So
So
the,
if
He
The
bought the
contract.
contract.
So when the previous owner of the contract did not bill us per the contract. He was very good to us. It's not the same.
fairly flexible on how he,
We get some free rides.
how well he took care
We
of
got some
us.
free rides.
Pretty much free rides, is that what you called it?
That was Sherry, not me. Sorry, I'm always one to
Um,
blame, so. I always get blamed for being fresh.
I mean, I heard about the wreck in the summer and how their bill like
Oh, it was bad,
went-
yeah.
It's the same provider.
Yeah.
So we're planning on what it
Right,
would
so they,
cost
I
for
think
us
they,
to
yeah,
do business as
manipulated a
usual.
little bit of the, because it felt like that when Joy was explaining it too,
Yeah.
that they manipulated it a little bit, so maybe they want me to call them.
All right, Sarah, you're a
I mean,
negotiator.
sometimes
Give
I'm
me
not
12.
very kind. No. If they could give me a free ride.
Interest on debt and principal on debt are down. That is the bond here at the elementary school. Transfer to food service. I know why it's up, but let you do some explaining for me, Heather.
That's you.
I can if you want, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
So transfer to food service is up because our food service budget is up. Bottom line, I have to make it break even, and general fund makes up the difference. The reason food service is up is there is a change in staffing in order to hire somebody. I'll back up. In order to get people to even apply, the part-time position was increased to 5 hours a day so that it would qualify for some amount of benefits. So there's life insurance in there, and they do qualify for prorated health insurance or stipend. And then our food service director was not being compensated fairly for the amount of work she does, so a raise is in there. And then we do have the food milk account line is up because in anticipation of our expenses going up, we did get a letter from Treasurer State of New Hampshire that commodities will be up, not just next year, but this year too.
And where do we receive the income for the food service director's share to,
From Freedom.
Freedom, it's in revenue.
in revenue, but in general fund or in,
It'll go in the food service revenue.
it will go in the food service revenue, okay. So it will still sit in there. And,
So that will go up also.
got it. So the $59,000 is just a very good estimated guess.
But we
Yeah,
also say that food service is the only department in our budget that actually takes in money.
Right.
So,
runs like a business,
so you
so.
see that food service transfer because of that,
Yeah.
because they operate that way with income and expenses, whereas the rest of them, I mean, nobody else is taking an income for that, so.
So that 59,000 feeds the whole school and pays for 2 people to work it.
Is it completely offset by that transfer?
The food service has to be brought to 0 at the end of every year. So it is, if it doesn't need that much, I don't transfer that much. If it needs more, I have to find it in the general fund. So I look at our historical food service claims or sales, our reimbursement from federal and state, what our daily sales are, the paid version of it, what I anticipate the contract will be with Freedom to provide their meals, and hope that I've done a good job in figuring that transfer.
And it also makes a difference, I mean, you know, the school board meets in August to decide about increasing rates or not. And I think there was opportunity to increase, you
And
know,
we
but you didn't
decided
choose
not
to
to.
go as far
Correct.
as you could have for some of those. So
Right.
those
Because we're
things
only allowed
matter
a
too.
certain
percentage?
Every,
10 cents.
10 cents.
Is the maximum. We're still running behind, so we'll be.
But that's for
10
lunch,
cents
but
per hour,
like
that's
breakfast, they could have gone up more.
But we, right, but we didn't because.
Yep, and I think one of the things that we need to make sure that we're still actively working, we are a school-wide school for Title I. And Title I funds are based on free and reduced lunch. So I think my plea to any parents out there is to, even if you think you don't qualify, or even if you wish to pay for your kid's lunch, or if you don't think your kids are
Child
gonna
never uses the school lunch
use
program,
school
you can still
lunch,
apply.
apply for the free and reduced lunch program, because that's how our federal funding comes in
reduced
for
lunch?
Title I. So it's
And
really,
adequacy.
and adequacy, thank you. So there's a lot tied to that. Even if you think you're on the cusp, please, please, please fill out the forms. And everything on those forms is kept
Confidential.
completely confidential with Janet, is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
And last year, it was harder to qualify, so if you didn't qualify last year, you might this year, right? Did they change that a little bit?
They have not changed that yet.
Okay, I lied.
But
Multiple families that only missed it by like $10. So my plea to families is please don't round up. Be accurate, don't lie, but be accurate, but don't round up your pay.
I will add my plea to families is if you do just miss it and you do not qualify for reduced lunch, the state of New Hampshire's limits are higher. So if you go to DHHS, you fill out their paperwork, you may qualify for SNAP. That puts you on the direct certification list and you are automatically
it's
free.
it's an odd catch-22, the same systems.
But it's important, because
It is.
families need it, and,
Yep.
you know, it's very
And
important.
with everything going up,
Right.
it will be helpful, so.
We should make sure the school counselor has that kind of information. Can
That was-
Right, because I'm sure
support
she would be
families with
glad to
that.
help with that, too.
And we are still actively working on trying to get the HB 1212 passed with our
Oh, yes.
senators.
Yep.
So that it would be an increase for our families, to meet, they could meet it with their income, there'd be an increase in the income limits.
Okay.
So, you know, plug to your senators and stuff to say, hey, we need to go for that.
Got it.
There are
So-
some state senators that do not believe that there is food insecurity in the state of New Hampshire.
Interesting. There is.
Invite them to the food.
Come on
march.
in.
Yeah. That keep, their needs keep growing every day and every week.
I'm gonna keep.
Heather, what's my bottom line as of right now for the general fund?
I have 7426938.
You don't have to say it again.
7426938.
How'd that go up? Aren't we going down?
Sure.
Going down.
What's that?
That is.
It is
Down.
down.
That is down.
From 7.5.
Gotta
Oh,
go.
I'm looking at general fund, up higher.
Oh,
I was looking at
always
the
look
general fund
everything,
before we looked
sorry.
at food service. That's okay.
Oh, look at
I'm
that.
like, wait a minute, we're up. So I was looking at the bottom of page 16 before we went into food service.
All right.
7.
Hang on. That is, I have to subtract the position, which I did not go through and edit each one of
That's
those.
all right.
things.
I'll be fair and let
I
you
have
go
it
to the bottom.
7281531.
Oh, 7281531. Thank you. Now we'll move to food service. So we've kind of talked a little bit about the food service wages there already. Then moving on to the benefits, along with the same census changes there.
We talked about all those things.
Yep.
Yeah, we've pretty much beat this thing.
I have, and then
Thank you.
food, propane is zeroed out because that was moved into the operating.
Into the other one.
Yep. Because the one tank, commodities, software, everything else, equipment membership, which gets us down to the new total bottom line of 7426938. Do you have a percentage on that?
4.45%.
Sorry, say that again?
4.45%.
It's better.
It's better. It's under 5. Any other thoughts?
And that just doesn't include the potential.
Any CBA.
Right, that
Right.
doesn't include any warrant articles, that's just the operating budget in of itself.
Right.
CBA, is that what you were?
The CBA will go on as a warrant article
Yep.
itself, separate from
Yeah.
this budget.
The SAU goes on as a warrant article, separate from this budget.
Correct.
And then any capital reserve.
Does as well. So, any other thoughts, places, concerns? And open it up if anybody on the floor has any. We haven't had much interaction with the budget committee this season, so.
No, unfortunately, because of it's been a timing issue.
Yep,
Don't.
that's fine.
You're welcome to take those packets if you want to.
We have a meeting tomorrow, and I intend to
Okay.
grab some of them and take them with me. And just for your information, I think I had this discussion with Jim, was that the advisory budget committee had sent to the selectmen 2 or 3 selectmen meetings ago that the governor of the state of New Hampshire had kind of issued I don't want to call it a mandate, but it was a discussion point that he wanted to see all the municipal and state budgets held level funding, meaning no increases from last year to this year. The guidance that the advisory budget committee sent to the town was that we wanted to see the town operating budget at best hold level funding from last year. At worst, hold level funding from last year. At best, seek a 2 to 3% decrease in the budget. 2 to 3% decrease in the town's portion of the budget is a lot easier than 2 to 3% in the state, in the school's budget. It's only $106,000 for the town budget. It would be much more significant. It would be pretty much your entire increase from last year to this year. That doesn't, I think, alleviate the responsibility of really fine tuning and really going in. And I know that sometimes cutting $100 here and $100 there feels
Foolish, but.
yeah, but
Right.
in the end, when I look at the tax bill, the school bill accounts for 55% of the town's tax bill. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for the taxpayers to, send out twice a year to the town, and they're feeling the pinch. You talk to Joe Dame, who runs the food pantry, and the numbers of families who are seeking additional help is up. It's significant. So everyone is feeling that pinch. Everyone's cost of living increases, and Social Security increases and pay raises are being eroded by the cost of inflation and the cost of goods. I was Heather Sherwood, actually she was me before I was me, at the middle school. So,
Wow, that was a whole title.
I followed in Heather's footsteps, and I know that there are areas that are negotiated and areas that are agreements and contracts that you can't cut, and they make up a significant portion of your budget. Special ed, you have very little control over. Negotiated agreements where salary increases are, you have very little control over, because some of them they're negotiated 3, 5, 7 years in advance. But where I will implore you that where you can make that pencil a little pointier and find some additional savings, the little bit more that you can will go a long way at town meeting and at voting time to be able to convince the town that the amount of money that we're paying year after year after year after year that continues to go up is still worth it. That our children are still worth it, and the education that they're getting here is still worth it.
And I think, I can speak for us here, we're trying the hardest to sharpen that pencil. And I think what's really hard, and I've said this year after year after year, is when our Conway numbers go up, it's really hard to say, Conway's up 300,000, we gotta cut 300 from our elementary students.
Right.
So, don't wanna pull out of, yes, we've had some declining enrollment, and we've made adjustments as needed for the declining enrollment, but at some point, staff is our biggest place
Yeah.
where we can save. But based on the conversation I've had, is, you know, do we have room? And it's, you know, that's where they were able to give up the halftime. Happily, it's vacant, so we're not telling somebody you're out of a job.
Especially.
But in this time, just make somebody in a little worse off position. So I think we've tried very hard to cut those, and I think Sarah's still jumping out of her shoes about the playground, but
There are just things.
we're
that-
trying.
And just so you're aware, the town draft warrant articles are $1.6 million. $1.6 million.
Yeah.
That's 3 times what it was last year. There were only $667,000 last year. There are $1.6 million this year, and next year, when the town goes to fix the dam,
Oh.
there's a $2 to $3 million bogey for that. Now, hopefully, we can get grants, and hopefully, we can you know, push some of that off by phasing it. But the fact remains, the town and the school system make up $12 million in tax budget. That's a lot of money for a town of 2,000 to 3,000 people to have to afford. It's a big bill for them. Big bill for all of you. I mean, you're all business.
Right, but we're worth it.
You know, so again, you know, trying to do our due diligence for the taxpayer and figure out what do we need versus what do we want. There are things that the town is gonna have to tell you know, their department heads, I'm sorry, you're not getting a police cruiser this year, or you're not getting this piece of equipment this year, or we're not refurbishing all the computers this year because we simply cannot afford it
As a collective group.
as a collective group. So, sorry to be the Debbie Downer, but
Jeez, Sharon.
Fine,
way to
Sharon,
go.
you're good at it. We'll leave it at that.
you know,
Sorry,
it's
kids, you need an
reality.
education.
No, I think we all understand.
Well, I think the biggest question for some of the taxpayers that I've been hearing is, when you do the math for let's round it, $7.5 million for 125 students, are we doing the right thing? Is that the correct thing? That's a lot of money per student.
Well, but see, that's what a lot of people do.
Yes.
But they're not including that this budget also includes
The high
another
school,
100,
the middle
call it
school.
double the number,
Right.
that we're paying to Conway
Right.
and to transport them to Conway, because that's all in the 7 million.
Right, so you're looking at another 33 students going to the middle school, and how many go to the high school?
It was 82.
82, so you're another 100, so even if you doubled the number,
Right.
250 students,
Yeah.
is, you know, 7.5 million,
Yes.
is that the right thing? Is that a good metric?
Right, and I think, you know, we look at it, we have to look at more than one standpoint. Education as a part, but also the building as a community building as well. And then upkeeps and grounds and all that stuff that, you know, if we had 200 more, if we had another 100 students, the upkeep and ground stuff wouldn't change a whole heck of a lot. I mean, the cleaning and maintenance of the building would change a little bit, but the heat and all those other
heat and
fixed costs
electricity.
aren't gonna change, so
Right.
your cost per goes down, and
Right.
I understand.
The last thing we want to do is put ourselves in a position where we're not maintaining and taking care of the school.
Right,
Then we end up with a dam problem.
right.
We've had our damn problem. That was very good.
Another
So
dam problem.
that's where your CIP
Is,
becomes ultimately important.
absolutely.
Is projecting those costs, those big ticket items, and understanding what you can be doing now, and looking for grants, man. I'm telling you, grants are where it's at. They're a pain in the tush. You have to jump through a whole lot of hoops in order to get them. But talk to Joe Dame, he's an expert at them.
Yes.
He's really, really good.
So stop consuming all of his time and let us have it.
Yep.
That's
recruiting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion related to the budget?
No.
Yes. Sure.
I know I could probably search for some of this, but maybe you can make my life a little easier.
We can try.
You mentioned 125 students. I can't tell from looking at the, personnel, how many classroom teachers there are.
and get that answer.
This year, there's 8.
Thank you. And I can find in the principal's report a breakdown of children per.
Grade level?
Grade level.
Yes, so,
Okay.
but the 120 includes the ECE, so K through 6, I think we're 111. If I remember that right.
So ECE is the
Is
preschool.
preschool. Sorry.
And that teacher is not included because that teacher is paid
With the SAU.
through the SAU,
Okay.
yes.
So, because I counted possibly 9 in the, so that person is probably just a specialized person, because the
In the
preschool
regular
person-
ed? Or-
Yeah, the preschool
So-
person is listed or not listed?
Not
So,
listed.
not, so regular ed, what we have in the regular ed wages, so you have the 8 classroom teachers, and you have the reading specialist, and you have 1 full-time RTI teacher in there.
And that was in addition to the halftime that you're cutting?
Right.
Okay.
So there are 131 students, but there are 19 that are registered in the ECE. No, this is wrong, because 20, because, sorry, we had to put in an out-of-district placement kid in our Alma for some strange reason. So we're 111 K through 6,
Oh, that would be the
19 in the
new.
ECE.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it throws me off.
Others?
I think that's good for now, that's what I was here for, thank you.
All right. All right, so I'm going back to the warrant article. Heather, you don't happen to have the default to match those changes, do you?
To match those changes? No,
Wow.
I only did one budget at a time, sorry.
Okay. All right, so the default is gonna change
It's gonna go down.
probably.
Plus it says draft right across the
I was like,
front
oh,
of
it's
it.
not one.
It just keeps buzzing.
Okay, so that's that one. Next is Article 3, shall the voters of the Madison School District adopt a school administrative unit budget of $1,423,764 for the 24-25 school year, in which $505,000 is assigned to the school budget of this district. This year's adjusted budget, what's it?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at this as 498. Article
you-
3,
Yeah.
yeah.
She probably has the old one.
Yeah, no, it says 498 in the middle of it.
Oh, hold on, yeah, I was on the top section. This year's adjusted budget of $1,321,339 with 468, so the second paragraph down under that.
This got reprinted.
Wait, you don't have the right
You don't have the
version.
right one.
I
You
don't?
don't have the right version.
You're reading something on a piece of paper.
My lord,
Do you
man.
need more of those?
Yeah, I don't think we
I
have
don't
the
even
right
know what I
version
did.
either.
Oh, I think all of us don't, right.
Yeah.
None of us
Well, I
do.
printed it for the budget committee, so there you go.
Sorry, I sent.
Sharon, can you just read these for me?
Here, I think we have.
They need them down there.
What are we doing here?
Which way did he go? Oh, that's a no.
It's a different font, you'll notice it's a different font.
Oh, yes, it is.
All
You
right,
have this?
I do now.
I do now, thank you. So $1,403,732
I didn't take one.
with $498,148 assigned to the school district. With a default budget of $1,321,339 with $468,943 assigned to this district, will be adopted if this article does not receive the majority vote of all district voters in this SAU unit. So, cumulative vote of Madison, Tamworth, and Freedom. Questions there?
This is budget year 2 of the preschool, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask the question, are we going to evaluate the school after 3 years? 'Cause that was what I was brought up. I know it's kind of putting it on the spot.
No, evaluate the program?
Yeah.
Yes, so we are, we've started doing some of that preliminary work, and we'll be doing a presentation at the end of the year when we went through a full budget cycle. But yeah, we are absolutely keeping track of that data.
Okay, thank you.
To, look at the,
Yeah, I just wanna make
the
sure it's-
educational and financial benefits.
Thank you.
Article 5, to see if the Madison School District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be placed in the previously established building capital reserve account. Nope, did I skip? I did, sorry. Back up to Article 4, $20,000 for the special ed capital reserve account. I am inclined to, we're up to, can you tell me what the fund, what that fund balance is? The CIP.
It's a lot.
Which one are we
It's
talking
like
about?
180
Cap
first.
build, the special ed.
It's like 180.
Special ed is
Over
at
two.
219, 415.
This is another place I'm inclined to think that if, I know that's not quite the top number we were hoping to have in that account. We haven't had to tap it, we've done very well. I think this would be a year to pass on that, based on just everything else.
So strike Article 5.
That is my thought. Sarah?
Oh, I've got the old one.
Should be
Okay.
You have the old one too, yes.
I don't know,
Alright, I'll just put notes on it, whatever article number it is, no sped capital reserve.
Is it the best idea?
I think, so I think, you know, again, 219 is not, it's not a bad place to be at, could be better. I think we've done a nice job budgeting for special ed, and
I think we probably should keep doing
know what's in the pipeline, so, I mean, can we get away with it? Yeah, I think we could get away with it. That's,
Passing on it for a year.
yeah, correct.
Yes.
Can I recommend potentially a compromise then, is if you take a look at what, have you tapped it at all in the last, say, 3 or 4 years?
Not since I've been on.
No.
No.
4
Okay.
years.
So it's continued to grow and we haven't touched it?
That is correct. And we've had a few years that it did not pass, so it did not get funded.
Okay. It might, I mean, it always has a chance of not passing anyway.
Right.
But if you drop this to $10,000 so that you still are putting money in there and you're still taking care of it, but you're reducing the amount that it's normally been $20,000, now you're putting in $10,000, recognizing that this is sort of an austere year kind of thing.
Yep. I'm just trying at the end of the day to get,
Yeah.
hopefully the things
The next couple
that.
of years, the town is gonna go like this.
Right.
You may not get
So-
so much in the
You may
next
not.
couple of years.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
all right. I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that what we do put forward, we can get past.
Right.
Is my, you know, I think ultimately our hope, at the end of every budget is, what we put forward is hoping to what we will get past. Thoughts on changing it to 10, or?
I'm pretty ambivalent to it, honestly.
Do you wanna change it not to be raised from taxation and just
And
fund
do it for
balance?
fund balance and up to a number.
That's an option too.
We could leave it up to 20,000.
Up to
Maybe raise it to
$20,000. I think, I like that better as an option. That
That's
way, if we
because-
do have fund balance this year, it will get
They
funded.
come from there.
But
Yes.
we could also only appropriate 10,000 to it, correct, right?
Correct, right, we could do up to, so we could do
Right.
10, 5, we could do $1,000.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we just change the wording on it then,
Can we-
from unused fund balance,
Yep.
or however.
However that,
Sure.
the DRA likes to see that written.
Yeah.
I like that.
I hate their wording.
Was
I
such
think this
amount
is
to be
funny.
funded from the 2030 unreserved fund balance,
Perfect.
because we have one in there for the building.
Yeah. That's like this.
Next,
Do you have any?
Sarah,
Sorry.
question?
No. Not for you.
All right.
Wow.
Is that a question back there?
No.
No? Okay.
I do.
Yes.
I haven't been through this process in a long time, so I'm just, is it commonplace to just kind of have a discussion, change the numbers and not vote as a group that you're all in agreement, or?
Nope, I mean, it's more, we're
Just a-
looking for generalized moving forward.
Okay.
And then we're going to, after the public hearing, we will vote to
Approve
recommend or
this?
not recommend each one. Before we're done, we're gonna vote to move these,
Okay.
or not move.
Thanks.
So we're still in a work session.
We're working.
Still working them.
We're working.
Article 5, to see if the Madison School District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be placed in the previously established building capital reserve account. So this we have taken from and added to.
Yeah,
based on the CIP.
Well, and the CIP does say 135, so I split this just randomly to keep both articles in. There's another one for 85,000 to be funded from the June 30th unreserved fund balance. Because we did 50 and 50 last year.
Got it, so we did 50 from taxation and 50 from, up to 50 from the unreserved fund balance. Thoughts?
Did it get fully funded?
It did, yes, and it was, so there was some of the project from the heating systems out there that it was utilized for.
So are those numbers reflected in this? 'Cause I'm looking at 150,000 for 2025.
They're just working.
135,000.
I see recommended warrant article for buildings here at 135,
Right.
but then I don't know.
So on the bottom this year, we funded 100,000. And I know you were here at the beginning, so I decided I wanted to put the capital reserve fund balances on this document, which in hindsight was not a great idea because then I have to adjust it at the year end for interest or add a line, and I created a lot more work for myself. But
Sorry.
for 2024, they're truly 2024 and this year. There's 110,000 of HVAC, so that hasn't been refunded yet. So I have all of those expenses listed under 2025 because that's when they're going to come out, so that my starting capital reserve fund balance can be right. And then I went through the CIP as it was, extended it out 20 years, and came up with 135,000 as kind of a level funding year to year, so that when we get out to, I think it's, I went out 25 years because I needed to pick up the HVAC again to make sure that we didn't go away negative. So that's where I came up with that. 150, if you have a copy that says that, then it's old. Did you read the
It just
name?
says ending balance from prior year, 150.
150, 808, I
Yes.
think is what that says.
That's what I had.
Yes.
Yeah, that was our ending balance as of June 30th with interest.
Wouldn't
And then-
that have been June 30th of 24? Why does it say 25?
That is 24, and then it's the starting balance for 25. I'm going school year. I know the calendar year, that's
Yeah, but 24, 25
Those are
hasn't
June 30th
gotten here yet.
years.
But we haven't funded it yet, we just funded it now, right? Because doesn't the fund not hit until December usually?
What, the 100,000?
Yeah.
It gets funded when I send it. When it comes from fund balance, it should be as soon as we determine that money is available. And when it's from taxation, it's by December 8th
Okay.
or something, 15th somewhere date. But though, that 100,000 is funded for the building maintenance.
Okay.
So then it picks up with next year at 135, and then that through the next 24 years.
So thoughts about doing 50 and 85?
So you did 50 and 50 last year. Are you
Yes.
anticipating that you'll have larger unreserved fund balance this year?
No, not really. I was just
I mean,
put
June 30th numbers should
placeholders.
be, right?
What?
The June 30th numbers. But this is for,
Right, it's gonna be June 30, 2025,
25, yeah.
end of year fund balance.
It's a great unknown.
So it's the budget we're currently working within.
right.
So if we have
Hoping for the best.
somebody move in or somebody move out, it could change those numbers left, right, up and down.
Right.
Do you have a quick answer for why there was the 50 last year? Was there a move out? Was there?
So, no, quick, where we had fund balance from last year, where I know what you're asking, where the undesignated funds came from last year. Did we have a staff member that was vacant, or
Well,
did we
yeah.
Why
have?
was there that much left over?
Right.
Not a lot, though. It's not a lot left over. I mean, you had 150 left over on a $1 million budget.
I'm
Right.
just trying to get out, can you anticipate that that same thing may happen again this year? Or
So
not?
year after year, we've ranged anywhere from 70,000 to
The COVID year is awful.
200. COVID year, I'm not even talking, it was like $800,000 in fund balance. So anywhere from, say, 70,000 to $200,000 on average. So within the margin of error of budgeting, you know, somebody changes the health insurance plan mid-year, up or
It's
down.
not something that you can say.
Not very well.
This
You could have,
predictably has
So,
happened.
we currently have the half-time vacant teaching position. So it's vacant. So that's potentially $40,000 that could be part of the unreserved fund
Also,
balance.
special ed, we budgeted for a full-time person with benefits, and right now we're covering it with, subs that, aren't using all of that fund, so there's gonna be that unexpended fund too, so
we also have a special ed case manager open that,
that's what I'm
Right.
talking about.
no, that one,
Yeah.
okay.
So there are open positions currently that we're backfilling with music. We're doing the same thing.
No, music we have.
You have
We're-
music.
Good, okay. I can't keep track of it all.
It's hard. Like if we have a staff member leave that has a family policy and we pull in somebody on a single, that's an automatic $25,000 savings. So there's this year. It'll be a little easier to dial in March, when more of the year's gone by.
But we also increased the food service to attract somebody for the food service, so
Which you might have to do for some of the other.
potentially.
Well, we only have any more part-time.
I think everything else
That half-time
is
is the only other
full-time.
one.
Yeah,
Or that just at least qualifies for benefits.
right.
Like that was the last position that didn't qualify for benefits, so everything else has some sort, whether they're prorated or 100%.
And then there's also revenues from the early childhood center that are coming back to us as well. So even though we're paying the bill, we're getting some of it back.
Right, because there's also, so not only for the two pairs, but we have administrative fees that have as revenue too.
Correct.
So there's a piece of
Like
that
I've
as well.
billed about 2,200 in speech to other districts. It's a
Right.
lot of billing, to have
Right.
this.
So thoughts again about the 50 and 85?
Nope. So moved.
Move it, all right. Article 7, to see if the Madison School District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be placed in the previously established Madison Corner Schoolhouse Capital Reserve. Last year, we did $25,000, down from 50 for that. Based on the quote that we received, just to do pull the siding off the exterior of the building, to remove the lead. When you're doing that, you're looking at the windows. Just exterior wise, the quote was $23,000 in materials alone, and didn't include getting into the groundwork or any of that. So there was some discussion at the last Madison Corner Schoolhouse meeting about, are we gonna put up another warrant article to raise and appropriate to put into that fund? And the discussion came out to be the same $25,000 again. But again, I know they're pushing, Nancy Martin has kind of taken over the lead of that committee. So that's where we're putting it for right now, unless anybody has concern. Some people want to move it off the property still, but it's still we still have to do something. It's becoming more and more of an eyesore every year. Just to make it look decent and acceptable is where we have to start.
What's the balance of that fund? Is it just that 25,000 from last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any thoughts, concerns? Okay.
You don't wanna know mine.
Article 8, so I asked the board to put this forward. This has been an issue back and forth for many years. Shall we rescind the provisions of RSA 4013, known as SB2, to allow official ballot voting on all issues before the school on the second Tuesday of March? 3/5 majority vote of this required. So this is to rescind SB2. and go back to town meeting style. I'm in favor of this and putting it on there. So.
What are the benefits and what are the pros and cons?
So, pros and cons, and please correct me because I'm not the best at this. We get to put our budget on the floor like they do at town meeting. So, if you say at the deliberative session, cut it by $10,000, and we take $10,000 out, there's still another polling, basically. The budget goes to a ballot, and people can go in and vote on the ballot. If that happens to be a day that it's extremely snowy or something that all the parents are engaged in, and they all show up to vote one way, or people show up to vote another way. At least at town meeting style, people can stand there and say, I want to decrease the budget by 10%. They'll take a motion, a second on the
You
floor.
have to decrease the line, though. You do.
You do have to decrease the line?
Yeah, I've tried
Okay.
it before at a different town. You have to decrease the line.
Okay.
I think it depends on moderator rules, because last year the Board of Selectmen were changing those moderator rules to say that, and that was not a change that they didn't do it right. They needed to go through George to do that. So I think it depends on the moderator rules.
But it allows more people sitting in front,
I don't know.
having a conversation together about where they want it to go. So you could have the warrant articles there, and so we were talking, moving the $20,000 to unreserved fund balance. We could do that on the floor. There's no default as well. So basically, the default is whatever you land with when you leave at a majority vote of the town. Thank you. So it allows you to hash it out right there, one place. Our deliberative sessions have become less and less and less attended. During COVID, I think we had 4 people in the audience, and those 4 people were making a decision as to what went to the printed ballots. But this does require 2/3 majority, 3/5 majority to pass. And I remember
Why was it changed, do you know?
it was changed.
More people can have access to voting going to the ballot, because not everybody can come on a Tuesday night and stay till midnight. They have kids, they have to, find childcare, so the fact that they could come all day long on a voting day, the idea was that you gave access to more people.
And it does, like, as Madison's ballot vote is, just blows away Freedom and Tamworth's, count of attendees at their annual meeting. And on the flip side, with the, as attendance at the deliberative session gets smaller and smaller, very few people control the budget, basically, that this is what you can vote on, it's this number or the default. And the discussion that's had at the traditional style meeting is lost because fewer people are attending. I think there's pros and cons either way. But with the lack of attendance at the deliberative session, we're kind of falling into what they call the SB2 trap.
It's also a lack of engagement. I feel like when you can just go to the poll, you don't need to be educated on why cuts were made or increases
Or why something
made.
was added.
You just vote on a number.
Vote on a number, whereas a town meeting, school meeting, you get to hear the discussions and the motions that are made.
And I remember 5-6 years ago when this was a petition warrant article, it was petitioned this way for the school and exactly the opposite way for the town. And they both failed, but I think getting it out there, it gives everybody, it gives you a different shift of power, but it allows you, like Deb said, to be more informed.
It's also weird that we have one way
And one the other.
We're not the only ones, though.
I think there's a lot more people that maybe turn up for town meeting than they do for the school deliberative session, because I don't think people appreciate just how important the school deliberative session is.
Right, because they think, I can do it in the ballot box. Whatever they move, they're gonna move. I'll do it in the ballot box. I remember Henry Forrest used to end up, cut it 10%. It didn't matter where, cut it 10%. And it was always, and then it was discussion on the floor.
So even if this article goes on, and even if it were, even if it were passed, it's not gonna apply this year.
It will not apply this year, it will start
have to
next
apply
year,
next
correct?
year.
Yes.
And how is it voted for? Is it voted for at?
In the ballot,
In the ballot.
on the ballot, yes. And there would still be certain things on the ballot at election day. Your board members, your officers,
Or no, these articles, still, too, right? I
The
believe.
warrants would be at the meeting.
the warrants would be at the meeting, but if there was something, if there was a bond, I think a bond would
I
go.
think a bond has to go.
There are certain things that would and wouldn't go. If there was a change to rules, I think that would go. I just don't, I'm trying to think of what else. I haven't seen enough schools.
The SAU would simply be a counted vote.
Would be a hand counted vote. Yep. Is there anything else that the other two towns put on their ballot that would not
It's
necessarily?
really the officers and.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know Mr. Epstein will talk about this and is much more versed in it than myself. So,
I got a point of clarification. Does a town select board make the rules for the school board if we go to a traditional town meeting style? We have to
No.
follow their rules.
no. The rules are actually the moderator's rules, I believe.
Okay, but we
So-
would have our own set of rules separate from what the town.
Correct, I believe
Yeah,
so.
the moderator would be the agent that would make those rules.
Okay.
yeah.
They could potentially be the same though, if the moderator
Right,
decides.
right,
the
but we
same
wouldn't be
rule
dictated by
applies.
the select board on how our meeting is run, correct?
No, and it would be a different date and time.
Right, right. No, I just,
Yeah,
point of clarification.
yeah, no. All right,
This would be a different date and time than a town meeting.
that is correct. It's general,
Usually.
most schools are Tuesday before, the town. So it's right around
Isn't the Tuesday before the
the
voting day
voting
anyway?
day.
It's
Yes.
already the ballot.
Yeah, like I think Freedom does theirs on a Monday night.
They do
Yep.
their the Monday,
Monday
before
night
the ballot
before
vote.
voting. So we'd have to look at the dates prescribed, just the way everything else is prescribed. There's a whole different schedule. And the nice thing is it kicks us a little bit later, so it gives us an extra few weeks to get our budget in order.
Digest those tuition changes.
Correct. Because right now, Conway's numbers are due to us by November 30. Our first meeting was supposed to be, this meeting was supposed to be December 2nd.
Because they didn't get the numbers in.
So we didn't
till-
have the numbers, so it was better for us to push back to today to at least have common numbers.
Also, the health insurance numbers sometimes.
They're right around that,
Yeah, right around
time as well.
Mid to late November.
yeah. So yeah, we get our budget pretty much locked in and then we get two unknowns that could happen at any point.
We'll also have a CBA warrant article on here too. And the,
Got it, so
Isn't that?
it was on the other
I don't know.
one.
On the old one.
It was on the first one printed.
Oh, alright.
Didn't make the second
Put
printed.
them together, it's a whole warrant.
So they're currently negotiating, still negotiating the CBA, collective bargaining agreement. That's why those are all zero in there now.
On the first printing of the articles.
On the first printing, so,
Out of optimism, I listed 3 years, but there's nothing known, so.
right. So it will be, hopefully we'll have it, that is by the rules, does not need to be in until January 14th. But January 14th is the last day for petition warrant articles and for
anything with cost.
negotiated cost items for the collective bargaining agreement.
Or contracts, too, right? Essentially. School
Yes.
bus, things like that.
Yes, yep, anything like that that would be added. So we were hoping to have that. It'd be nice if we could have it prior to the public hearing. But we'd still have to vote on it. So we're in a confusing date and time right now. But hoping that things will progress.
It's freezing rain, so be careful.
Okay.
Got it. All right.
Whose car do you have? Oh, my sister's.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'd
it's
be a
smashed
system.
up. Well,
Um,
it's smashed up too, so don't worry.
All right, so I will take a motion to move the warrant articles as we have them set.
So moved.
A second by Sarah Sherry. Any other discussion on any one?
So can I just ask, because that CBA goes as Article 4, so that would just push down all of your other ones?
Right, because that is prescribed to be
Right after the.
right after the SAU.
Just, I don't know how that works with your vote, like, just like you're clear, everyone's understanding. So when it comes out, like, oh, well, why is that number 4 instead of at the end? That's all.
We would adjust, I think we'd adjust that at the public hearing, or after the public hearing when we actually vote to.
No, but I just mean the order of them. I just wanted to make sure everyone. knows.
Right, but for the
gotta be-
for the posting's sake, we don't have anything yet, so it will go this way. At the public hearing, we can talk about it. After the public hearing, we can make the final adjustment to it.
Gotcha.
Because if it's coming from undesignated, if it's coming from fund balance, it needs to be written in the order you want to fund them.
Correct.
Janet has a question.
Can you just tell me, did Ed make the motion and who seconded it?
Sarah,
Ed made it and I seconded it.
Thank you.
Should we amend it?
to add, to, should we put that
Why
in
don't
as
you
a?
just put a placeholder?
Right.
We
and
can.
renumber
Just
them
move the
to
right
Article-
numbers
all the way
down.
down to Article 9.
Yep, and then, so I guess,
Discussion.
Right.
Like,
I know.
yeah, no, I hear it.
Okay.
So Article 4 would be a
CBA article. 5 is for special ed.
So I'm gonna ask a question on that. So, special ed and, the unreserved fund balance for, the building, which one do you want first?
Why are you looking at me?
Well, I'm just looking at everybody. So is there any preference, cause like Mike just said, from unreserved, if there's only so much, you have to fund them in the order.
In the order.
That's right.
Yeah, but we don't, we could put 10,000 in one and 20,000 in the other, doesn't
Correct.
designate that.
Right, so it doesn't, okay.
Drop Article 7 off.
What's that?
Nothing.
All right.
Just being fresh.
That's
I
all
think the
right.
order's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
Because
fine
they'll
too.
be from unreserved fund balance, so we can,
Right, but do we have to move the special ed down below the $50,000?
Oh, go
yes,
for
that
it.
actually makes a lot of
So
sense.
Go for
move
it.
So
4
why don't-
down to 7.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Then,
Right.
Then 7 needs to go up,
Right.
No, move 4 to 8.
4 to 8. But this isn't from unreserved fund balance either.
No.
So that would have to go up.
Yes. Heather will find out what the rules are.
So
She knows.
the 50,000 that's going to become from taxation is going to follow the CBA article.
Okay.
That becomes 5.
That becomes
Correct.
5.
Stays
And then the
5.
special ed is going to be funded before the capital reserve in terms of unreserved fund balance.
Okay.
That becomes 6.
Okay. 6 is special ed. But
And
what
then-
about the Madison Corner Schoolhouse?
Is 8.
Off of the ballot.
Even though it's not from unreserved fund balance?
Off of the property.
That's what I was,
That's how where I had it last year.
Yeah, it was at the end last year.
It was petition.
Oh.
No, it
Yes.
wasn't.
Right.
It was.
It
No.
was.
The schoolhouse
No, it
was.
wasn't petition.
Yeah, it
But
was.
then-
no, we put the article up.
No,
The
we put one to
petition
bring
was
capital reserve.
to dispose
Change it.
of.
You're right.
dispose of
You're
it.
right.
Raising and appropriating ones can be on their own, but anything coming from fund balance, that's where the order is important.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think the whole order is important.
Correct.
It's
All
just
right,
the unreserved
so-
fund balance.
We're making this way more complicated, people.
Yeah.
So can the motion read,
Motion to move and accept the warrant articles as amended.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
I just like moving them down.
Okay.
We'll do it how you want it.
Sped
Heather.
comes before
Job.
building.
Seeing no other discussion, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? No, carries.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
motion was not public? Or do we need to close the,
No
Work
no
session.
public hearing,
Work session.
so
To
we're
close our
good.
work session.
okay.
All right, motion to go into non-public then.
do you want to move the location so Asia can clean up?
Yes. Yeah, because we're way later than normal.
I know.
All right, so motion to go into non-public session by Ed, second.
Sure.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Sherry, yes. Sarah,
Always
yes.
yes.
Yes,
Ed,
please.
yes.
No.
Jim, yes. Okay, we are in non-public
Fired
session.
up today.
Well, Jeff's working and the kids
Anybody in
keep
the audience,
calling
would
me.
they like a